welcome
Celeste,
everyone.
Celeste, before you even start, please, is there, Reverend Davis, is there any way that you can open this up with a prayer, especially
Sure.
the occasions that occur in Boston and other people? Maybe we can give a moment of silence and in regards to this tragedy of Reverend Davis, if you could, please.
Or you were breaking up. I didn't get it, Robert.
If you want to open up with a prayer and pray for those people in Boston and make sure.
Buffalo, Buffalo, Buffalo,
I mean
Buffalo,
Buffalo.
Buffalo. I'm sorry. Yes.
Sure.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Celeste, but I wanted to
Tanya,
make.
go ahead.
Are we ready?
Waiting on you.
Okay. Father God, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we just thank you for another time to gather together for this meeting. Lord, we ask you to bless each and every one who are participating in this meeting. Lord, we also ask you to remember those who have gone through the tragedies and have gone through things that should not be. Lord, we ask you to bless the families, bless the organizations, bless each and every one that is impacted by the situation. Lord, we ask you that you continue to keep each and every one and give us strength as we go through and as they go through whatever they're going through during their time of need. Lord, we just thank you for all things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ms. Davis.
Okay, everyone. So welcome to Community Board 4's monthly public hearing and regular meeting. We're going to go ahead and get started. It is now 6:07. Thank you to both Mr. Camacho and Reverend Davis. We do have a full agenda this evening, so we want to keep everything on point, on time. So we're going to go ahead right into our first public hearing item, and that will be the Department of Health and Department of Design and Construction presenting on the rehabilitation project at 335 Central Avenue. And I know Afia is on, I know some other folks are on. If you would want to take it away from here, the floor is yours.
Hi, I'll start. This is Kiki from Department of Design and Construction, unless anyone else has, unless someone from DOHMH wants to introduce, but I'll take the lead if that's all right. I am Christina Blazewski Charpentier, also known as Kiki. I am the Deputy Program Director for the 1NYC and Health Unit at DDC's Public Buildings Division. We've been working on this project for several years. It was on a long pause through the pandemic, a long procurement process, and we are so happy to announce that we actually issued the NTP yesterday to the contractor. So that clock is ticking. Very happy to, I'll introduce the team. I don't see everybody in the participants list, but I will introduce our team at DDC. Joanne Zhang, you might see her name as Jomei Zhang on the participants list, but she is the design project manager. She will be supporting the design services, any design issues that come up during construction. Mostafa Felfel and Mohammed Haq are the construction project managers. They will be working, they will have representation on the site daily once there is construction activity. We will all be working together as a team very closely with the Department of Health as well. We know the Department of Health team. We're familiar with Ina, who is the facility manager. We've worked a lot with the facilities and planning team, but if someone from DOHMH wants to introduce the DOHMH team on the call, go ahead, and then I'll go back to the design and construction consultants and contractor. Are you on? Do you want to say hello?
Hello, good morning. I mean, good evening. My apologies. Thank you, Christina. My name is Afia Frimpong. I am from the Department of Health Office of External Affairs, and I cover all constituent concerns that are health department related from in North Brooklyn. I'm just here. I'm going to be taking notes. And if anyone else is from DOH, please let me know so that I can inform Celeste. Thank you, Christina, for joining tonight's meeting because I know that, CB4 really wants to understand what's going to be happening with the Action Center in the next 2 years to come.
Yeah, sure. So without delay, we will introduce the design consultant. Thornton Tomasetti is the design firm. Luana Linz, who's on the call. She's been our coordinating architect, doing some of the, the landmark quality restoration, structural, drainage, civil work is all under her responsibility, and she will speak about the scope of work and have a presentation for us momentarily. And are very excited and eager contractor, Sea Breeze General Construction, Marcin. If you can see him on the video, he is there with, I think, Nick. And who else is in the back? I can't see it on these tiny views. Who's in the back there, Marcin? Do you want to say hello?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. It's Nick and Jonathan, who is our assistant.
Oh, Jonathan. Okay.
Jonathan, yes.
So yeah, so they'll talk a little bit about they'll touch on the schedule on a very zoomed out level as we are still working out some of the details. But if Luana, do you want to start the presentation? And I don't know if Celeste, maybe, I don't know if Luana has all the sharing. Okay, great.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me here today. And I'm very excited to give you an update, and because it's been a long journey, right? And we're starting construction, and I'll give you a little bit of the flavor, what's to come, and what we have designed for you. Okay, so Bushwick District Health Center. It's a 3-story building located at 335 Central Avenue in Brooklyn, between Linden and Grove Street. Immediate neighborhood includes Hope Gardens, the Nitro Housing, and Heckscher Playground at the rear of the building. You can see there. The building was built in 1958 and designed by Brooklyn architect Henry Murphy in a mid-century modern style. It is considered a fine example of New York City public architecture of the 50s. And the main entrance facing Central Avenue is highlighted with the original bronze curtain wall, bronze framed windows, granite stone accents, and cantilevered canopy. And the building horizontality is accentuated by these exposed concrete bands above the windows and the limestone sills and copings. We go here. The building was, so footprint wise, it's a T-shape configuration there that creates 2 courtyards that are used as parking for the clinic staff. And it went through a lot of renovation back in the 90s, which introduced some changes that you see nowadays there, which is actually on the east side, stairwell, and also the main entrance back then was redesigned to incorporate an access ramp. There was also a lot of window replacements, security grills added to the building, and security lighting. But since the 90s, honestly, there was not a lot that renovation that occurred. And nowadays, the building suffers from leaks, air infiltration, a lot of masonry deterioration. The parapets are cracking and deteriorated. The concrete bands are spalling. There are, flood events at the basement of the building when there is like heavy rainfall, and the roofs are past its service life. So our project includes really a complete rehabilitation of the building envelope to address all these causes for the water infiltration, drainage, and overall deterioration of the facades, and provide upgrades to enhance the exterior of the building and also restore its thermal performance and connection with the neighborhood. Okay, so among the scope for the, among our like one item, big item in our scope is the redesign of the main entrance to meet code and ADA requirements. It was also one of the requirements that we make it more welcoming and inclusive to the community. So here, what you see here is a photo of the existing main entrance and the bronze curtain wall. Okay, here is a plan of the existing conditions, and among issues you can't see in the plan, but when you experience the building, you have a lot of uneven steps, the handrail, wobbly handrails, some locations where you're missing, and also the ramp does not meet current codes, and the circulation at the landing needs improvement. So what we propose here for the main entrance is really shifting the stairs towards to the west, okay? And this way creating circulation that it's a little bit more open at the top, and also opening up more space for the ramp so that it can actually be ADA compliant with the proper railing locations and railing and landing spacing there. This scheme also incorporates at the bottom 2 new seating areas at the sidewalk level and one at the bottom of the stairs there in front of the building. Okay, so this is how it looks like, what we are proposing. The walls at the new stairs and the ramp are limestones to lighten up and complement the existing color scheme of the building. The bench and the stair treads, those are granite, ray granite. Additional improvements that you see there, it's the doors, existing doors will be replaced with the user-friendly automatic balance door. We also will have the security gate on the same location. Also, we'll have a replacement in kind there of the soffit, and the signage will be replaced, very similar, but it's going to have no display of the entity's new name, which is Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. So here you can see what we have planned. A close-up of the proposed seating area at the street level, at the stairs. Also here, the new railing proposed is bronze. It will be designed with to emphasize the horizontality of the building. Okay, just on a side note here, the building will remain occupied during construction, and safety is priority always. So during the renovation, the main entrance, renovation of the main entrance, the contractor will build first a temporary entrance that will be towards the southwest of the building. I'll point it out on another photo. And this temporary entrance will also have a ramp, will have the steps. So this is to make sure that the building will continue to be used throughout construction. Once that temporary entrance is fully done, then they will be able to block the existing main entrance and move forward with that restoration work, repair work. Okay, moving forward here to different elevations. So here you can see the west and the courtyard. And I don't know if you can see my cursor there, but this is the section that we're going to be building the temporary main entrance here towards the southwest section of the building. Okay. So other repairs proposed for the building in general, not just for these facades, is really repointing, masonry replacement. So that will improve water tightness, 100% parapet replacement along the building perimeter there, and replacement of the glass blocks at the stairwells with new curtain wall. So here is a view of the rear of the building. And so the project includes removal and replacement of the concrete headers above the windows. The replacement will be almost in kind, if you will, because it's still concrete, but it's going to be a waterproof concrete. The existing limestone, the cells will be repaired and cleaned. Will look brand new. The window scope includes the removal of the security bars that you now see, and the replacement of all the windows with high performance tilt and turn windows to provide extra natural light and also assist there with the maintenance. The existing 1950s bronze curtain wall will be restored, right, maintaining there the building's character. And the glass blocks will be replaced with a new curtain wall. It's important to say that these existing glass blocks, many of them are cracked and they no longer comply with code. So for the replacement, that's why we are doing a curtain wall in this location. The project also includes a full roof replacement with new insulation. There are existing chillers at the back, at the rear of the building. So these will be replaced with more efficient units, and they will be set on a higher dunnage beams, and they'll be surrounded by acoustic louvers to mitigate noise. And just so that you have in mind, these units are much quieter than the existing. And where you see there in blue is where the acoustic louvers are going to be placed. Okay. What else? Right. So here is a plan of the proposed site. And before we even review this, I want to point it out here because it's part of the work, but it gets hidden. So the building has a lot of drainage issues that needs to be addressed as part of this effort. So it is part of the scope to improve the stormwater runoff and install new site drainage, which requires excavation to replace these pipes. And the pipes are at the perimeter of both sides of the building and the parking lot. Okay, so we'll need to, as part of this work, right, we'll disturb some of the planting here, all of this, the asphalt, and unfortunately we'll have to remove 2 trees that are already affecting the drainage of the building. Okay, the exterior work, and I'll talk about landscaping in a little bit. The exterior work, along with the replacement of the existing piping on the inside of the building, inside the building will be a lot of piping replacement too, along with the replacement of the RPZ, will help solve and mitigate these backflow problems that are currently experienced inside the building. So once we're done with all of excavation, we'll include their asphalt pavement, new fence around these courtyards, reconstruction of the brick piers here in the front of the perimeter of the building, along with restoration of the current original fence, and brand new sidewalk that will kind of connect the main entrance section there with the outside. Okay. The new landscaping that we're proposing include new plants that can acclimate to the soil condition and add more seasonal color and texture with very low maintenance there. That we also have new exterior signage and which are more directory and banners throughout the building. You can all see that, how that works on these renderings. So here is a sample of, an overview of what we're proposing. And I know there's a lot of work there to be done. And in the next 2 years, some, noisy work that, because it's the nature of what needs to be accomplished. Contractor will be working there with DDC, with all this DDC community outreach to be with you along the way to inform the public of any of these disruptions and disturbances. But overall, the community and the has a lot to benefit from restoring this building. And I, you know, and to be proud of its architecture. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
Is it-
Luana. I don't know if, did you want the contractor to speak, or do you want to just go straight to questions? Maybe I don't want to take up too much time.
Yeah, if there's anyone else that would like to speak, now's the time. I just wanted to be sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Marcin, do you want to touch on the schedule real quick?
Yes, sure. So I think the information that everybody needed. So we anticipate to finish this project in summer of 2024. I'm gonna go very briefly. Luana told us all the schedule. So this year, you guys gonna see a pipe scaffolding and the sidewalk bridge all over, and we're gonna start working on the facade, which gonna take us to the winter, through the winter to the spring of 2023. The next step is gonna be windows replacement, which is gonna take us from spring to summer. The next step is gonna be the roof replacement, which should take us to the end of 2023. And the work on the main entrance, excavation, drainage, civil work and everything, that's gonna start on early 2024. And as I mentioned before, we anticipate to finish on the summer of 2024. Weather permitting and God wills. God knows.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
All right. Is that it for speakers? Just want to be sure.
Hi,
Yeah,
this is Jomo Black. Hi,
Oh.
Kiki. Hi, this is
Yeah, go
Jomo
ahead. Hey,
Blackman.
Jomo, thanks. Go
After
ahead.
DDC's community outreach notification, just to let you guys want to piggyback off what Dr. was saying, that any impact to the surrounding community, you will be notified. I have contacts at FDNY, NYPD, so if there's anything that goes off the surrounding community that impacts traffic, pedestrian movement, you will be know about it. You will know about it at all times.
Perfect. All right. If there are no more speakers on this item, we'll open for questions. Board members, members of the public, any questions?
Celeste, can I?
I'd like to speak, this is Joanna first. We have a request that any board member who would like to speak, please identify yourself by name first for the purposes of our records and also for the purpose of anyone participating so that they will know who's speaking. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Parliamentarian.
I
All right.
Camacho, chairperson CB4, can I?
Go for it.
I see that on the scope of the map that you guys have chairs in front of there. Are you familiar with the area very well? I know your maintenance guy must be tired of having all those people when you guys leave. You see those tables there, those chairs? That's gonna be party night right there in the bottom of the stairs, right here by the stairs, not there and over there and on the side right there. That's gonna be party night. So when your guy comes Monday morning to clean, he's gonna have bottles, junks and everything in there. So just like you see illegal dumping on the other side of the building that you guys got there. I hope you let the maintenance guy know that he's gonna be 95% of his work will be outside.
That's true.
Every Monday, every day during the week. So you didn't take in considerations with all those stuff that's gonna be there in regards to, we know you want people to relax and rest, but be ready. Cause across the street, we got the barber shop, we got all them crazy people on the other side, and we'll be going over there to party because we see it there all the time. And I know your custodian's constantly cleaning or trying to clean. I know we did a cleanup the other day. I think it was last year. I think our district manager was there with us with Hope Garden, and you saw those shrubs, and we went in there, we cleaned all that stuff there. So 95% of your work will be outside. I don't know why I know you want to make it a open border friendly thing, but be careful what you wish for.
Luana, do you want to answer that partially, or I can maybe respond?
Did you guys take in consideration your
We,
on a day-to-day basis, especially on the side of Grove where they do the illegal dumping constantly? The refrigerators, the stoves.
is
the
it?
stuff
I don't think any of us
constantly.
on the I don't think any of us on the design team are familiar with the illegal dumping. I don't think that's been brought up to
Or
our attention.
how about sitting on the blocks where the bushes and shrubs are that they throw their beer cans and leave the garbage there constantly? None
Yeah.
there neither. No.
So I think that it's a great thing that we're speaking now. And I would hope that the Department of Health would also illuminate some of these issues as they are there every day. But we will certainly be getting calls. There are a lot of concerns in this area about illegal dumping, about loitering. We don't want to create more issues with this beautiful redesign. So perhaps, if there's any way to keep those things in mind to not overburden the Department of Health and create more problems for the people in this particular area. If that could be taken into consideration, I'm sure it would be helpful in the long run.
Yeah, I'm sure once we're on site more frequently, I mean, we really scrutinize this building during design, which design was completed a couple years ago now, if not more, really, possibly as long as 3 years ago, really.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know how much has changed since then. We have reviewed it thoroughly with Department of Health, but if it is something that is a deeper concern or was not brought to our attention, then we can certainly talk about it. It's certainly, we don't want to have a negative impact, so we can review it with the Department of Health team.
Unless someone has in the chat, not only that, would the benches be graffiti resistant? To may be seen as clean slates, but those who want to deface the.
Yeah, the building does have, it's going to be, the lower portion of the building has an anti-graffiti coating as well. That
How about the benches?
to be-
The benches.
It would have to be painted as well. I mean, it's clear coating, right? So the
Luana,
benches and.
Sorry,
Oh,
the benches specifically.
right, so that can be, I have to check, but everything from, the lower floor supposed to be coated with anti-graffiti. I do not, the walls for sure, the benches I would have to check on the specs there, Kiki.
Okay.
All right,
Sure.
There are a few things from the chat that I just want to reference. So there's a question from one of our board members, Mr. Rel Brown. This was directed to Mr. Bolesta. How many workers are you hiring and how many are from Bushwick? Assuming that this has not been addressed. So I'm not sure if we're at the right point in this process for that, but that is one of the questions in the chat.
I think I answered this question already on the chat. So because it's a PLA project, means project labor agreement, all the workers are coming from the union halls. And basically we as a general contractor, we sending our request to the union halls. Giving you example, I'm calling union halls, local 1 bricklayers saying, I need the 5 bricklayers, and the union basically decide who they send it to me. I don't pick the workers. That's all the union halls.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, Mr. Ceballos raised his hand.
Yes, yes, I want to ask about the parking, because right now in the areas it's very, very hard to find parking, and I think you was mentioned parking in the in the construction. I want to know more detail about that, and I want to say also congratulations, very, very interesting design.
Thank you. The
You're welcome.
parking that we have, this is inside the building. They have already parking for the clinic. right? So that will be restored once we are done. And the work will be done in phases. My understanding, the contractor would have to keep one open while they, stage on the other side, and be in agreement there with the staff. But one of these courtyards will be used as staging as part of the phasing there. But other than that, Martin, is there any other impact on parking or anything during construction?
The only impact on the parking is gonna be on the Central Avenue. The front of the building, it's gonna be our staging area, but those places, those parking spots, I saw the sign over there, they already dedicated only to the Department of Health. So we're gonna take over there a few parking spots during the course of entire project. So basically from the Groove, I forgot the name of the second street, but from the corner, basically.
I think Linden, right?
Linden,
This one
yeah,
is Linden and this is Groove.
yes, between the Groove and Linden, this entire section of Central Avenue is gonna be taken by us. At least like one section of the one lane is gonna be taken by us, like 8 feet of the street for the staging area. We're gonna get our fence over there, concrete barricades. There's gonna be a storage area for the material and for the dumpsters.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, and your employees will be coming in cars and they'll take the other people's parking that lives in this community, or are you guys gonna charter them in the shuttle bus? Because all the time we come here, we see your employees put their cones, or every construction site I see, on top of their cars, and they don't move it from side to side, but we that live here have to move. How is gonna happen with your employees and where they're gonna park?
We not allowed our employees to put any cones on the cars, and we don't give them any parking spots because it's simply illegal. We're gonna ask.
So they're gonna be taking the parking spots for the people that live on the block then?
Yes. Probably yes, few of them. I cannot say yes or no because, as I say, I don't know who's gonna come over there from the union. Yeah, but probably yes. It's gonna be the impact of the parking, but it's not gonna be also that many workers. Mostly of our workers, they coming with the train, or they're coming together, 3-4 guys in the same car. But yes, it's gonna be some impact. You're gonna see few more cars in the neighborhoods that's not from there.
And a few more questions from the chat. So will the entire building be closed down? Where will the services go? I think I heard during the presentation, there's going to be another entrance. So it sounds like services will still be ongoing. Can we confirm?
Yeah, I can speak to that a little bit. Yes, we worked really close with Department of Health during design, and we're kind of passing it to Marcin and the contracting and the construction team with our project managers to make sure that we can keep all the services open and available. Of course, there will be disruptions, some shuffling inside the building, but nothing will be completely vacated out of the building is the full intent. So we're phasing the project, so we are not wiping out an entire floor of occupants. It will go kind of like room by room, or maybe 2 rooms may be isolated and taken offline, but it will not involve a full closure of the building or any service inside.
Got it. Thank you. Go ahead. Is there more?
You mentioned the temporary entrance there. So in plans, the temporary entrance will be in this location here. So the contractor will open up the existing fence, because this area will have to be reconstructed anyway, and build a temporary entrance with a ramp for everybody to access the building, a different area until, so that this can be fenced off and be reconstructed. And this is really working with the Department of Health to be able to maintain the building fully, accessible during this construction.
Got it. Great, thank you. And then follow-up questions, it sounds like it's for outreach. Mr. Blackman, Mr. Laren Quint put in the chat, there are folks who play dominoes on that corner. How will you notify them of possible issues? So I imagine community notification, that's probably a very broad capture there. Is anyone able to speak to how folks that generally are interacting with this space, potentially enjoying this space, will be notified?
Is that the corner Linden, or is that the other, where the park kind of driveway Grove Street? Can someone elaborate on that, or? I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter where it is, but the whole idea
Well-
is that how do we work on the disruption, and how do we notify everybody?
Well, I would
Um,
reach out to the community
yeah.
board, like being you, and you would reach out to those individuals, and I would also put some flyers in the vicinity, let them know that there would be some construction in that area and they would have to move.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And then another one, this may be a funny question. I sat in the center for hours for services such as maternal care, WIC, immunization, etc. Will there be air conditioning? I imagine this is an interior question, so I know it's probably not a part of this project, but is someone able to confirm that there's air conditioning within the facility?
We are doing significant chillers on the roof, so they must be servicing some air handling units within the space. I don't know, maybe Luana, if you know the exact areas that it's servicing, but I think it's for the whole building. Yeah,
Yeah, my understanding is that there is AC for the whole building. Once we also worked hard with the Department of Health and DDC there to try to phase it so that they don't lose AC during the summer months, the months that count. So the replacement of those chillers will be done phased on a way that once they, remove it and until they put another chiller, not to be on a summer when they actually need it. But my understanding is that they do have AC.
Okay, and Joanna?
Yes, good afternoon. I'm glad this presentation. One of the things that happens in our community whenever there's construction and demolition, we have an increase of rodent problems. I understand that you're going to be working with the fire department and the police department, and you're right next to NYCHA City Housing. Is there anything that you can do to help with the rodents that will probably be increased when you start jackhammering and tearing up streets and they're going to be running wild? Is there anything that you can do about that?
we are, the work is pretty limited. We are not. Hello? Yeah. Yeah. Most of the work is above ground. There is some work, drainage around the building and the site work. I don't know the details, but I think DDC's general conditions has something for rodent control. I will have to verify the details of it. But if it becomes excessive or obnoxious to anyone in the community, we will try to address it as best we can. Is there a current problem within that vicinity and that location of the building anyone is aware of?
Not that we've heard of, but
it's
just in
throughout
general.
Bushwick.
No, understood. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, right, construction is disruptive. But we're not doing major like foundation works and, going very deep, but, they find their way through landscaping and, anywhere.
All right.
So
and I don't-
also, hello, hi.
Go ahead, Afia.
Sophia?
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to add, being that it is a health department building, once construction starts, if community members starts to see any type of rodent concern, of course, that is something that definitely you should let me know so that, we can speak to our pest control team to see how we can mitigate that situation. But definitely, of course, that is something that you should report.
Thanks. I was
Okay.
actually going to offer that, but I was like, that's not my jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Department of Health covers.
It's our building.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Department
it's
of
our
Health covers a
building.
lot.
So that means
Yes,
there
I was
shouldn't be
joking.
any rats, right, Afia? Just kidding. So, so
Imagine in
we'll
a
of
perfect
course,
world.
yeah, we'll keep you posted. I don't see any more questions from the chat. Last call, final call for questions. Going once. Oh, we have one for our Economic Development Committee Chairperson, Desmond. How are they complying with the MWBE requirements and outreach?
We do have a MWBE goal for the contract. Somebody help me out here. I think is it 27%, 30% of the contract
27.
value?
It's
27?
27.
Okay, good. I was, okay, thanks. Yeah.
I don't know if you had a follow-up, Desmond?
I
that?
mean, yeah, you have a goal, but how are you complying with it? Are you doing outreach to the neighbor area? Are you making the GC responsible for it, or is GVC going to oversee that? Like, I want to hear an actual like MWBE plan.
Okay. We have a goal that's part of their contract, so they are obligated to meet that goal. And if they don't, they would have to seek a waiver out of it, which is rare, does not happen often or at all. So and DDC does have resources to support the contractor with identifying contractors or subcontractors that are available, that are certified MWBE if it becomes an issue, if there is a shortfall meeting that goal. But I don't, Martin, you could speak. I don't think we're going to have a
Yeah, I
problem
really
meeting it.
like to hear the contractor, since either be the one responsible for that.
So at this point, all our subcontractors, which is gonna be almost more than 50% of the work, is gonna be MWBE. So Seabreeze, we always using minority and women business companies, and at this project is gonna be almost 50% of.
We're going to comply.
We're gonna to comply. I know we got the 27%, what we always above. This project specific, we're gonna be almost like 50% with the work that we're gonna submit to MWBE. And we already got those. We already got the contracts with the LWBE being signed, ongoing preparation of the contract and being signed this week and the following week.
Yeah, it's not just the contractor, it's with DDC. There's a utilization, MWBE
Yes.
utilization plan. And again, we work together if we catch any shortfalls, but yeah, thanks, Marcin. Okay.
We're gonna be over for sure.
Perfect. Okay, so I don't see any other questions, any other raised hands. I just want to thank both DDC and the Department of Health. For those that don't know, this particular site, the health center, has been on CB4's district needs statement for many years, even prior to my time as district manager. We're very happy to see this project moving forward. We know it's been a long time coming. It's coming right after a pandemic, so I think it's particularly exciting for our recovery. So with that being said, thank you, everyone, and we will be moving on with our agenda. You're welcome to stay. We understand if you have to go.
Thank you so much for allowing us to take the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you
All
very much.
right. So
Okay,
we will
bye-bye,
move on.
thank you.
Bye-bye. Good evening. Okay, so we'll move on now with our second agenda item for our public hearing this evening. And we have an open meetings law update. Mr. Camacho and I and anyone else, all of this information was sent to the board recently. We know there's a lot that's being shared right now, but we wanted to take this time to make sure that everyone is aware of the most recent guidance that's coming from the city's law department, as well as from various borough halls across the city. Even Brooklyn Borough Hall has spoken about the end of, and I want to emphasize this, at some point, our ability to meet remotely will end. We were previously told it was going to be June 8th. However, recently the governor's office has announced that the last day is June 14th. What that means is that after June 14th, all of the public meetings that every single entity has to go back to being in person, could potentially be a hybrid. What that means for Community Board 4 is that all board members, speaking of board members only, as long as we're able to afford the hybrid option, public attendees can still participate remotely, but all board members would have to go back to in person after June 14th. So What does that mean in terms of the recent amendments to the open meetings law? There was very dense legalese that I shared with everyone, but my understanding is that if the board chooses to pass a resolution, right, it has to be very clear on what we're entailing within the resolution itself. So there are now provisions for individuals that fall under a category of having extraordinary circumstances. They describe this as those with mobility issues. They, you know, I imagine immune compromised folks, really for those that are unable to make it to meetings in person for one reason or the other. They also reference caregivers for aging parents. Those are all considered extraordinary circumstances, and those board members, right, would be allowed to participate remotely. However, there would still have to be a quorum in person for the board to conduct its business. So they're saying we want to make sure that folks that are absolutely not able to be there in person still have the ability to participate. However, we're not completely changing the entire law. And then there's also the one stipulation where whenever there is a state of emergency, if the board so chooses, as is permitted by the state, the governor's office had made this clear prior to this particular meeting, whenever there's a state of emergency, the board may choose to hold their meeting remotely in whenever it's in the public's interest. So, but that would have to be something that is going into this resolution, and it would have to be passed in order for the board to meet remotely in the future whenever there is a state of emergency, whether it's the weather, whether it's a health-related emergency, things along those lines. So I know I just spoke a lot. I want to open this up in case folks have questions, in case they have another interpretation, in case Mr. Camacho, you would like to say anything, but that is my understanding, and we want to discuss it with everyone. Oh, you're muted, Mr. Camacho.
Yes, that's exactly what I read. I read the same thing you did, what you sent out. So obviously, we just want to hear from everyone else and see to make sure that we all know that it's not us. We're doing the best we can to make sure that we do what the city charter says and what they say they want us to do. But other than that, you know, it is what it is.
Anne?
Yeah, so is there a provision in that? So just how today, just like the email you sent out said that we're on red alert now in the city. Is this going to go back and forth based on COVID numbers, red alerts, or whatever they are? Or is that a blanket determination? Because I got COVID a couple of weeks ago for the first time. I've been as careful as I could possibly be. It hits it's just contagious right now. So is that rule going to allow for changes in rates of hospitalization, of danger, of et cetera?
As was described in the guidance provided to us, they did not take into consideration what might happen with COVID. What I would, my best guess is that if it does continue to escalate, they would keep the state of emergency in place. Therefore, if we have the provision for the state of emergency, the board would be able to meet remotely. That's what I imagine would happen. Jose?
Good evening, everybody. Just following up Anne's question, is there any guidance about if we go in person, there will be requirements about masking? How are we going to ensure that the community members, and just to remind people, this is a volunteer space that we all are sacrificing not only time, but now we might put in risk for health as well. So I'm just trying to understand what the Borough Hall and our elected officials are proposing to do to keep us safe while we conduct our duties.
So there's no specific guidance regarding the meetings. They are largely basing guidance on masking on the larger CDC level guidance. However, we are at the discretion of a senior center, and the senior center has very different guidance. So if we were in a different building, what I'm about to say may not be true, but because we are in a senior center, they require masks. And of course, if folks aren't feeling well, we're gonna ask them to, not come to the meeting. But we will have masks on site. When we go back to in-person meetings, we'll be asking everyone to wear them. We hope that folks will comply. We don't foresee any reason why they wouldn't. But that's kind of where we are right now. And of course,
And
social
ha-
distancing, we're limiting the number of people at tables. And then at least during the warmer weather, we know that the center has doors on the side that we may be able to open to increase circulation. So there is some thought going into it just to make sure folks are comfortable. We know that, again, this is just for those that have to be there in person. So the public can still participate, remotely. But we want to ensure that everyone knows that they can come in person and be safe in person.
And
Josh?
we'll have hand sanitizers.
Yeah.
Stuff for people, because I would our councilwoman had a town hall, and they had masks and hand sanitizers, and they did their due diligence, and the meeting was on, and it was very well accepted there.
Perfect. Josh?
Given that we're going back to in person, Camacho touched on about the hand sanitizer and a mask. Are we going to cut out the food portion, given that that can pose an elevated risk, and given that that's a staple of our community boards?
Unfortunately, not at the current time. Hopefully, when things get better, we'll be able to resume, but we want to eliminate, anything that can come into contact. So that would include our dinners that we used to provide to the community. So at least for the time being, we're gonna, refrain, but hopefully we'll be able to resume when things get better.
Yep.
Mr. Ceballos?
Yes, I want to say, because everything is coming back. It's a lot of people now are going back to have COVID, and we don't know later. We don't know in June what we're going to be on, and I don't know. But I think it's that decision is put people in danger again, because everything is coming back.
So we know it's a very personal decision to attend in person, but that's why we're having this conversation now. We want to be prepared. We don't want to wait till we get to that point and then no one can, participate remotely. And we've always said, the guidance that we receive is just what they are advising us right now. There is legislation, to my knowledge. I don't have the specific bill, but I know there have been discussions on the state level of expanding the open meetings law. We encourage everyone to reach out to their state representatives to ask them to advocate for that. Think about how convenient it would be if you could do either or in general. So we're not quite there yet. So we have to work with what we have now. And I do want to point out that, and I can't predict the future or how, the state will respond. But if things continue to get worse, there's no reason to believe that they wouldn't extend the state of emergency when they've done so before. So.
Yeah, and there was anticipation that hopefully in June, but we're hearing a lot of speculations in regards to if it goes down, they'll go up, and if it goes up, it'll go down. So we gotta just keep it posted and see what's going on. We'll take it day to day. If it stays up, then we gotta do what we have to do. If it goes down, then we have to do what they tell us to do. But we're just bringing to let everyone know that it's not me, it's not Celeste, it's not the board. We got to go through the city charter and we have to be in compliance. I know we don't want to get cited or fined in regards to not being in compliance, because those fines don't look good. Celeste knows for a fact that those violations aren't good at all. So we really need to make sure that we do what we came to do.
Ms. Bennett?
Yeah, Joanna Bennett speaking, and I just want to remind everybody to please state their name when they speak. One of the things that concerns me is the imposition of that you must have in-person enough in-person people at a meeting to make a quorum. And so it almost seems like an unfair, like a hardship that to impose that on us in the middle of COVID. If you have willing board members that are even willing to give up their time remotely, and to say that you can't even vote on something because you're not physically present, seems like, why would they even do that? What is the whole purpose? It holds up the community board's work that we're trying to do. And some of it, as you know, is often a time sensitive. So I just think that that is something that I don't know if we can write to our elected officials, but they seem like they could even lift that. To have people come out during COVID is one thing, to risk their lives. But another thing to say that the board can't even conduct their business because you don't have a quorum, because people want to participate remotely, is unfair. It seems like a punishment. And I think that's extremely unfair to hold up the business of the board.
This is Mr. Camacho. It is in the city charter. If you read on the city charter, it specifically says that all board members must be present. It's on there. So unless we get our elected officials to write in the city charter to change it, to use it as a remote, it's in your city charter. It's on that paper, and you can highlight if you want. I can give all of you a copy. It specifically said that your body must be present in order to make a vote on something. So that's, and have a quorum to conduct a meeting. And the only way it's not now is because of the executive order that the governor put. So unless they change the city charter, you know, like they change our term limits like they did to us, we termed out after X amount of years. So unless they change the city charter, we fight the elected officials, because that was under vote when we voted and nobody turned the page over, that was part, and the people that did voted to do term limits for board members, that we're volunteers. That's the thing we have to make sure. So we have to always be available and make sure that we check our checks and balances.
This is Louisa Chan. I have a quick question regarding any proposals, like, because you mentioned that it's the city charter. So is that can only happen through a ballot initiative, or can city council members sponsor anything? Like, have we been in touch with the city council members to see what their thoughts are, or if they can help in this regard in terms of protecting, I mean, you know, the function of the board, but also protecting people's lives. You know, this is, you know, we're going to have to live with COVID, but I just don't think that, you know, I agree with what a lot of people have said. This is a volunteer position, and, you know, people shouldn't have to make a choice between doing what's good for the community versus, you know, what's good for their own health.
So, and just a point of clarification, we're discussing the open meetings law, not the city charter. So the city charter is a completely separate conversation, but right now what is dictating or what sets the tone for these meetings is the open meetings law. So yep. I don't know if legally it supersedes the charter, but I know it's a state mandate. So it's a state law. So, and that is what basically dictates how any public body within the, you know, the jurisdiction of the state, you know, the municipalities would conduct their meetings. Jose
Guzman, community board member. Yeah, I just want to say, just to put things in perspective, I think we were in this situation, I want to say maybe a year ago, when exactly this conversation was brought up to us, right? And soon after that, I think we start having infection rates and spikes and all of that. So they extended this emergency law. So I really hope, you know, that they're not going to put us in harm's way. But just as I'm listening to you all, I kind of recall that we had this conversation. It's like a deja vu all over again, right? So hopefully, you know, this emergency law, if the infections continue to spike, it's going to be extended. And I really believe and hope that as a community board, we continue to be taking care of and protecting each other, and making sure that we continue to be safe. So
yes,
thanks.
Absolutely. And yes, the only difference between the conversations then and the ones we're having now is that we are being asked or being, how do I say, advised that we have the option, the board has the option of passing a resolution, right? That would basically take the recent amendments to the open meetings law and allow for certain individuals that fall under the extraordinary circumstances category to participate remotely. So they didn't say everyone can do it, but basically those that would otherwise be completely prevented from being in person because of a mobility impairment or because they're immune compromised, they now have access to participate until I think July of 2024, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to cross-reference the month, but I know it's 2024. So, and then, oh, I know we also have our council member here. Councilmember Nurse, I see that you dropped something in the chat. Would you like to speak? Oh.
Sorry, yeah, I just wanted to say we're also subject to those laws, and our meetings are hybrid and we don't require a number of people in person for a quorum. So I'm confused why that would be required of you all. And I'm sure that we can work to do the right advocacy to make sure that's not required. I don't think that will be a big lift.
Okay, perfect. All right, final call, comments on this item. Oh, I see we have, okay, the hand went down. So I see no hands. I see nothing in the chat, nothing in the Q&A. Final call for any comments, questions on this item. Going once, going twice. Okay. So we will revisit this during recommendations later. If the board would like to make a recommendation, I strongly encourage it if we want to allow for those folks to be protected, even if they do extend the state of emergency, but we'll go through that then. Okay, so that concludes our public hearing today. Thank you, folks, and we'll get ready to go right into our regular meeting agenda. Board members, please be ready for the first roll call. All right. Starting from the top, Reverend Grace Ates. I did see Reverend Ates on the phone earlier. Just a reminder for anyone on the phone, it's *6 to unmute and *9 to raise your hand. Joanna Bennett.
Here.
Joshua Brown. Martha Brown. Raul Brown.
Here.
Oh, okay. Robert Camacho.
Yeah.
Melissa Carrera is excused. Felix Ceballos.
Present.
Louisa Chan. Andrew Choi.
Sorry, Louisa's here. I couldn't unmute in time.
Got you, Louisa. No problem.
Thanks.
Andrew, oh, got you, Reverend Ates. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Andrew Choi. Elvina Davis.
Present.
Carlos Feliciano. James Fitzgerald. Freddie Fowler is excused. Christopher Graham is excused. Igari Gomez. Ann Guiney.
Present.
Jose Guzman.
Present.
Hadia Harrison. Jared Hicks has resigned. Tanisha Honeyghan.
Present.
Barbara Jackson is excused. Unless you're on, Barbara, I'll mark you present. Cheryl Jones.
Present.
Virgie Jones. Virgie did say she had to move her car, so I know she was here earlier. Luisa Jose. Andy Marte. Mary McClellan.
Celeste, you heard me?
Oh, got you now. Thank you.
Okay.
Imani Mitchell.
Present.
Desmond Monroe.
Present.
Sammy Namir Olivares. Kyle O'Rourke.
Present.
Suma Navo is excused. Asaya Polite.
Present.
Thank you. Gladys Boulia. Raul Rubio is excused. Alicia Ruiz.
Yeah, present.
Thank you. Bernadine Shell is excused. Barbara Smith.
Present.
Thank you. Dustin Sonborn.
Present.
Annette, gotcha. Annette Spellin.
Present.
Leo Teneo. Jerry Valentine.
Present.
Carlotta Williams.
Present.
Oldhoff Wright. Frank Zimmerman.
Present.
Gotcha. All right. I'm gonna do a quick tally.
24.
20, you got 24?
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Camacho?
Yes.
Perfect. Constitutes a quorum. Great. Thank you, everyone. All right. So acceptance of the agenda. Is there a motion from the board?
Elvina Davis moves for the acceptance of the agenda.
Jose Guzman, seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Item number 3, acceptance of the previous meeting minutes. I have to apologize. I was not able to finish editing them in time. A lot of reports to review this month. I kindly ask if the board would mind tabling them, and I'll get them to you as soon as possible.
I, Robert Camacho, request that we table the previous minutes.
Joanna Bennett, seconds.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. And then just let me double check what is next. Yes, we have our election this evening for our 2022-2023 Executive Board officers. So everyone should have received some guidance. Just give me a quick minute to pull up the information. All right. And I do want to take a moment to thank all of our nomination committee members. I want to give a shout out to the nomination committee, which includes this year Mary McClellan, Barbara Jackson, Annette Spellin, Gladys Puya, Melissa Carrera, Dustin Sonborn, and Desmond Monroe. Each year, this is an ad hoc committee, so additional committee that meets specifically to review the nominations for each position. And just give me 1 second. So I have the results here, but I do want to defer. I know last year Ms. McClellan was able to say a few words. I don't see her on this evening. But if Mr. Camacho, you just want to say a few words about the nomination committee and about executive officer positions and why they're important and the role that they play on the board.
Oh, well, we all have to make sure that there's a lot of folks playing. Oh, we all want to make sure that that if you hold a position there, that you complied with the position, and make sure you come to these meetings and make sure that we're here to serve and make sure everyone gets done. I know we have you guys have a copy of the bylaws. If you don't, we can give you one in regards to each title and each position that they're in the job that you hold. Some of the positions that are on there, you don't do those jobs, but only because the staff and the office does. But if you want to share information or you want some information, they can then give you, so you can have yourself in regards to some of the titles that are on there for office. Other than that, we hope everybody that's on there serve, and the people that not on there are not going to be nominated or running. We hope that they continue to serve with us and continue to make Bushwick better. We're trying in our office hard to make sure that we get all these agencies to be in compliance to serve our community. And that's what we really want to do in regards to HPD, in regards to sanitation, in regards to PD. And me and Celeste and the staff are really trying to bring them all in, which I know we have majority of them when they come to the service cabinets and the meetings that we have, and they come and they hand them. But we really need to up the ante and make sure that Bushwick get their fair share in regards to taxes, and make sure that their services get served. So that's what I'm here for. That's what we're here for. As you know, the chair is 2 years, so I'm up for election next year. So it's up to you guys and what we want to do. So we all want to make sure that we serve everyone in general. So gotta eat, sleep, Bushwick. We have to. If we don't, what happens in one block happens to the other. Cancer spread. So we really got to get together and come on out and also support our elected officials in whatever they want and need, and also ourselves, because we know we go through the chain of command sometimes. And now with all these new elected officials coming in, and we have the borough presidents and our mayor, we want to make sure we bring our mayor in here for we can, if he's doing good, we'll appraise him. If he's not doing good, then we're going to go after him. And we want to make sure it's everyone, even myself. If y'all feel that I'm not, guess what? Any of us can be replaced. Replace me. I don't take hardship on that. If we got someone else that wants to do or think they can do better or do something, by all means, that's what democracy is all about. Getting out there and putting new people and new ideas and things to the table. And if you want me, I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Camacho. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to ask, I know we have a few of our nomination committee members on this evening, but just as a reminder for everyone that's on, so these positions are only open to board members. The board member has to be on the board for at least a year. Nomination committee members are not eligible for nomination. So, and then if you're a committee chairperson, for instance, and you're nominated, you would not be able to hold both your position as committee chair and as an executive officer, as per the 2019 bylaw amendments.
And the reason why, Celeste, the reason why we did that is because everybody was saying that I'm going to too many meetings. We're doing too many. So we're trying to consolidate some of the things and make everybody share the love, because that's the Brooklyn way. Everybody has to eat. So we want everybody to form and make a better decisions in regards to what we do. Because if the same person is the same person that's the chairperson and the same person that's on the executive board, then he comes to the full board meeting. Then if he's on the committee, now he's going to 4. So we were burning out these people. So I wanted to make sure, and we changed our bylaws to make sure that everybody eats and everybody has their fair share in serving this community.
Thank you. All right, so go ahead.
Ms. McCullen couldn't get on. I just called her.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
all right, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Barbara, for letting me know. I made a note for that. All right. She spoke so well. She spoke so well I remember last year. I was inspired. I was like, let's do it. Let's go fight for Bushwick.
Because she's the chairperson of the nomination committee. She's upset right now.
Yes, she is. So, but yeah, thank you, Barbara. And then what comes next? So I'm going to pull up the election form. Don't fill it out just yet, everyone. We're going to have to go through it. If you recall, we have to ask for nominations from the floor, or rather the committee has to. So Desmond or Dustin, if you're comfortable, I'm going to pull up the form. If you don't mind just reading through each of the titles that comes up. Desmond, if you'd like to, I see you there first, Desmond. So hold on one second. Let me just share my screen. All right. So here we go. So the way it works, you just have to state the position name, and then you have to ask if there are any nominations from the floor 3 times. So you have to say it once, second time, third time. Whenever you're ready, Desmond.
Is vice chair the first one, or do you need to move it up? Because I see
Yeah,
first
so
vice
just,
chair.
just start with first vice chair, and then you have to go through each one of them, one by one. So.
Okay. First vice chairperson, is there any nominations? Any nominations going twice? Any nominations going 3 times? I guess we'll move on, right?
Yep, move on, second vice.
Second vice chair, any nominations going once? Any nominations going twice? Any nominations going a 3rd time? Okay, recording secretary. Any nominations going once? Any nominations going twice? Any nominations going a 3rd time? Financial, you kind of messed up. I think you hit something. Financial secretary. Any nominations going once? Any nominations going twice? Any nominations going 3 times? Okay, treasurer is currently vacant, previously held by Gertie Kephart. Is there any other nominations going once? Any nominations going twice? Any nominations going a third time? Okay. Correspondence secretary. Any nominations going once? Any nominations going twice? Any nominations going a third time? Parliamentarian. Any nominations going once? Any nominations going twice? Any nominations going a third time? Okay.
All right, perfect. So what comes next for all of the positions that only have one individual, and please board members correct me if I'm wrong, since they are running uncontested, they are automatically in that position. And I believe the current recording secretary has to cast the vote. Is that?
Yes.
Okay. Is James Fitzgerald here? James, are you there? I don't hear from James. I believe this happened last year as well, and we asked Ms. Davis, who is the correspondence secretary. So if the board will allow for us to move this forward with a vote from the correspondence secretary, would that work?
Yeah, I make a recommendation that, yes, we get the correspondence secretary, Avina Davis.
Okay, is there a second?
Gerald
For that?
Jones, second.
Okay, Cheryl Jones, I heard you first. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. All right, Ms. Davis. So we'll just start with the first position for second vice chairperson. You would have to cast the one vote for Mr. Rubio.
I, Elvina Davis, cast one vote for we're going second vice chair, Raul Rubio.
Perfect. Thank you. And congrats to Raul. I'm sure he'll be happy when I mention to him tomorrow. And I'm going to go ahead and remove this. There doesn't need to be a vote. I'm going to take this off of the election form. All right, moving down to recording secretary.
I, Elvina Davis, cast one vote for recording secretary, James Fitzgerald.
It's Mr. Ceballos, Elvina.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Phyllis Ceballos, I'm sorry.
All right, thank you. And congrats, Mr. Ceballos. You're the new recording secretary. Don't fill it out yet, folks. You're jumping the gun. I see you. We just saw the response, whoever did that. All right.
What they think? We don't see y'all. We see what y'all doing.
All right, so I'll go ahead and I'll remove this. Congrats again to Mr. Ceballos.
And we know who did it too.
Yeah, we're down to financial secretary. Ms. Davis.
Thank you.
Elvina Davis cast one vote for financial secretary, Eliseo Ruiz.
All right, great. Thank you. Congrats, Eliseo. And I will remove this one. And then we're down now to correspondence secretary, which now we have a situation because Ms. Davis, I don't believe can cast a vote for herself. So What are we gonna do? We have another, do we have another secretary get involved in this? Because I believe Eliseo is still on the line, if that's the case.
Oh yeah, Eliseo could catch it because he was elected anyway.
So, all right, so is there?
Davis?
Yes.
You cast it for Ms. Davis?
Yes, Alicia Ruiz, Lena Davis for correspondence secretary.
Perfect. Congratulations, Ms. Davis. We're doing great this evening, folks. All right, I'm gonna remove this one. And then the last one for Ms. Davis for parliamentarian.
I, Elvina Davis, cast one vote for parliamentarian for Joanna Bennett.
Perfect. And congrats, Madam Parliamentarian, Ms. Bennett.
Venga, Catria.
All right. And I'll remove that one. All right. So we'll move on now, and I'm going to just go ahead and scroll up. So we have, now this is the time, board members. If you have the form, I'm instructing you to go ahead, fill it out online. If you're calling in, I shared the call-in number earlier via email. You're calling Dustin Sonborn to enter the information for you. But please click the link that I sent earlier for the form, the online form, and please enter your selection for these positions. Oh, actually, wait 1 second, because I forgot that Eliseo we already have one more. As a matter of fact, it's just one. Eliseo can't run for 2 positions, so we have to do the same thing for treasurer. Alvina?
Take me off the treasurer, please.
I did. I didn't.
Okay,
It's
stop fair.
sooner, yeah. So we need one vote. Yeah. go ahead.
I, Elvina Davis, cast 1 vote for treasurer for Jerry Valentine.
Perfect. Congrats, Jerry. All right, so we have only 1 position this evening, folks. And before we vote, and I'm apologizing for missing this because I'm doing all of this from scratch again. We only do this 1 time a year. But Josh, I know you're on. Do you want to speak and say a few words about the position and about what you've been doing in the position?
Yes. Good evening, CB4. My name is Joshua Brown. I'm currently first vice chair. In my role, I represent CB4 in lieu of our chairperson. In terms of the work that I've been doing for CB4 is being a subject matter expert on issues concerning real estate, deeds, as well as estate planning, because these are issues that affect the community greatly. We thank those of you who attended our webinar recently. We think there was critical information that will serve our community as well as benefit families in Bushwick. But I've been serving in the capacity as somewhat of an educator as well as a clarifier, and humbly look forward to serving Bushwick further.
All right, and I'm gonna call one more time for Mr. Fitzgerald. James, if you're there, this would be the time to also speak. If you're not there, we have to move on. Going once, going twice. All right, everyone should be voting now. I apologize for the back and forth, but please submit your votes for just 1 position, first vice chairperson. We have 44 board members in total, and 22 are here this evening. So we should have 22 responses, or at least somewhere close to 22. Some folks may have had to drop off. So we got to do this now. Yes, Anne?
If we already voted via email or via the form, do we have to vote again?
So that was the nomination form. The form I sent today is the election form. Yeah, two forms, but thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Celeste, where's the form?
I sent the reminder email, final reminder before this meeting. It's linked in that email with the instructions for the election. Oh, great. We have 12 now. 10 more. We're getting there. 13. So exciting.
Yes, who we voting for? I went to the bathroom. Who we voting for?
So first vice chairperson, that's the only one.
You have
So
Barbara
there's-
Jackson's on too, Celeste.
Okay.
We only got 1 person there.
No, there are two. Joshua Brown and James Fitzgerald.
Yeah, but on my phone, damn, man, this shit is so. On my phone, it says only Joshua.
Oh, no.
Can I move the one you got on the screen?
So if you looked at the email that I sent earlier today, then that would have the correct form.
That's the one I got.
Yeah, you might have to refresh your screen. So I was making
Okay,
some
I will.
changes. Yeah, if you pulled it up too soon, you may have to refresh because we had to remove some folks that weren't contested. All right, we're at 17 responses now. Remember, you can always text or call Dustin if you need to, for those that are calling in, or if you're having issues with the form. And we thank everyone for your patience. We know this is a very strange way to conduct our elections, but we've managed to make it work thus far. So it would have been much more difficult, I imagine, if we did this hybrid. So it worked out. All right, we're at 19. I think 3 more people and we should be good unless board members have jumped off.
I can't.
I didn't know I had to get this app.
Celeste, is Mr.
Just
Yeah,
the link.
Celeste, is Mr. Fitzgerald present
No,
to this evening?
no, but that doesn't disqualify him.
All right.
Yep.
If you refresh it, you update. I just did that.
Okay, perfect.
I don't know how you guys do it, but you're doing a great job.
Amazing. Yeah,
I can't even get it, Celeste.
So text Dustin.
Let's see, I gotta
Just-
look for
Yeah, text the one name.
I just put the link in the chat.
So that shouldn't go in the chat because it's not for everybody. So if it members of the public, please do not vote.
I sent it to all panelists, not to the general.
Panelists. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I always just don't want to confuse folks. So, all right, we should be good. Thank you though. All right, anyone want to do a drum roll? Because we've arrived. There should be no more votes after this, unless people have jumped on. We didn't know they jumped on. All right, the results. Joshua Brown with 96% of the vote. Congratulations, Josh, first vice chairperson. All right, and that concludes this year's elections. Yay! All right. All right, everyone. I think this is a record. We should put this down in the annals of history that we've completed an election under like 30 minutes. All right. So we'll move on now with the rest of the meeting, and we'll go straight into our chairperson's report. I don't know if you want to congratulate everyone or anyone wants to congratulate everyone, but congrats to all.
Yeah, I'm gonna if you're not talking, could you please unmute because I'm having a background. I want to thank everybody. I know we got I know I'm gonna be a rough person, but we got a hard work ahead of us. Bushwick needs us, and we gotta make sure that we serve Bushwick in whatever capacity that we have. So thank God for all the youth. Thank God whoever made it, and let's go to work. Celeste, can I read my report?
Yes,
Go ahead.
go for it.
Okay. On Thursday, April 21st, Shape Up Bushwick Committee, we met. On April 23rd, Saturday at 10 a.m., I went to El Puente. They had a function, a workshop from 12 o'clock, from 10 to 12. And then I went to Josh. Thank you, Josh, for the CB4 deed fraud webinar we had from 12 to 1:30. Josh, it was great. I was there. I loved it. It was good. The people you had, it was good, informative. I hope we could have did it, open where we can see everyone and everyone can participate even more. But we did a good job. That same day, I went to the Clean Bushwick Initiative, Maria Hernandez Park from 12 to 4. Then from there, I went to House of Yes. This was on a Saturday. So I took my whole Saturday, went to House of Yes block party. On Sunday, the 24th, I was at the inauguration from Borough Hall with Antonio Reynoso, our new borough president. We have good young blood there. April 25th on a Monday, CB4 EPTC as Parks Committee. There are several concerns in regards to our parks. We will speak on, I don't know if I should speak up on it now or wait until the end. Celeste, should you want me to wait until the end in
Yeah,
regards
go-
would you, huh?
Go through the meetings and then you can speak on
Okay,
the
I got it. All right. I want to make sure I don't want to take any more. Tuesday, the 26th, CB4 Housing Land Use Committee. Wednesday, the 27th, we went to Dr. Dent, our famous Mrs. Dent retiree party. I was throwing down. There's pictures out there somewhere. I know everybody got it. I had a suit, a little shirt and tie, and thank you for the committee that put this together. We had a nice time. Big shout out to Bushwick. I did that. Clean initiative. I did it. Tell them. On Tuesday, May 3rd, 1 p.m., I was at the hearing with public housing. The RAD PAC testified with Congresswoman Alexandria Aviles. It was a good hearing on Tuesday, May 3rd, 6 p.m. Brooklyn Borough Board meeting. On Wednesday, May 4th, Bushwick Playgrounds. Me and Celeste took a walk over to the Bushwick Playground on Wednesday, May 4th at 3 p.m. MTA briefing on the 1BX project. Celeste will fill you in on that. Wednesday, May 5th at 5 p.m. CB4 Sanitation Work Group. Friday, 6 p.m. Friday, May 6th, 10 p.m. Hope Garden project update with the RAD conversion. I'll speak in regards to them in a few. On Friday, May 6th, 1 p.m. Assemblywoman, we had a meeting with the Assemblywoman in regards with this establishment on Wyckoff with Celeste will fill you in on the rest with some of the concerns and issues that we had them operating out of their license. Tuesday, May 10th, 12:30, a meeting with the new employee from Congresswoman Jennifer Gutierrez. On Tuesday, May 10th at 5 p.m. CB4 Arts and Culture Committee Work Group. On Tuesday, May 10th at 6 o'clock, that was at 5, permits and license. On Wednesday, May 11th at 10, the district cabinet meeting, 27 participants. On Thursday at 2 p.m., walk through the old OMG building on Old Street. We did a walkthrough, me, Celeste, and Annette Spellings. And then that day we found out that the guy that was giving us the walkthrough had COVID. So we wound up checking each other out, but we're all, thank God, are good. So thank God he let us know. We found out he got tested. We got tested. He came out positive. So he let us know we all got tested. So thank God we're all right. On Thursday the 6th, the CPSR CB4, that Thursday 7, community partners with Patrol Borough North, Deputy Inspector Moscow. On Tuesday, 6 p.m., the A3 Precinct Council on which is today on 6:30. Oh no, which was Tuesday. On Tuesday at 6:30, I also want to thank the Councilwoman Sandy Nurse. It was at 195. We had a town hall. It was very a lot of things going on in regards to sanitation, so we got to help her to push some more money for sanitation. And we also with the controller, I think it's the state control land, what's his name? Lander, yes. Brian Lander was with us. We took pictures with him. He's really enthusiastic in trying to see if we could change the tax laws. He also wants that 421A. We're pushing to get rid of it. Hopefully they can get rid of it and expired. And then today at 10 a.m., the A3 Precinct Clergy, and then the full board meeting today. And I want to fill you guys in on some of the things that we've been getting in our office, and also I have been getting a complaint in regards, and hopefully when the captain is on there, he can enlighten us on why these things are still occurring, and we really need to support them and help them in any way. And we don't want to defund the police department. We need more police officers because we're having a lot of issues. 1122 Bushwick Avenue, the event studio. They sent me a video. It's horrendous. I know someone mentioned that there was a gun taken from that place. This is the first time I heard about it. They sent me a video. Bushwick Park, the ball field, a lot of vendors playing volleyball all times of night, late at night. Bushwick Park, no park. The dogs ain't stop. The dogs are in crazy, but I want all the elected officials, even the mayor's office that I know is on here. I know that the Rango site has an open space. One, what's going on with that open space? They're using our park, our baseball field, as a dog park. There's holes, there's landmine, there's feces, there's urine. No one is helping. They're getting tickets. People don't care. They're not paying them tickets. What happened to the open space on Knoll? Why is it not that there? They're paying $4,000. They got an open space there. Why not? What's going on with it? We need to find out what's going on with that open space. They have open space that was catered to them on the Rango site. 95% of those people that come to that park are from in that development spot. And I had sat there and seen them walking from across the street and messing up. The kids don't want to use that park no more. There's feces all over. There's holes. They're making holes all over. Something has got to be done. I don't know what's going on. And that's Parks Without Borders for not listening to us. They should be closing these parks down for our kids. They're 12 and under. That's not the only park that we have. We have Irving Square Park. They're letting them go. There was an incident today. So they said, call me. Some dog bit another dog that they let go, and there was an issue in the park there. Furman Park. Nobody wants to use Thomas Bowling Park because across the street, they're carrying guns and shooting, and the kids can jump over the fence and come into that park because the fences are low. Another thing that they don't listen to us, Parks Without Borders, Woodbine, Bushwick Park in Woodbine. Another 299, they playing volleyball at 2 a.m. in the morning. They got a generator out there. They sent me a video. At 2 o'clock in the morning, they playing volleyball and they got a generator. What's going on here? We really need the mayor's office. I know it's on there. We need help. I don't know if PD needs help or we need somebody to come and help us. We're getting pictures. We have pictures. We got things going on. Prostitution. We got them going into. We had this individual send us a letter, a 5-page letter, a garage, working in the sidewalk, abandoned cars, a house that's abandoned, that's rotting all over the place. 193 Wyckoff, a limo, an old car that should have been removed from there. They've been complaining, calling 311 100 times. What's going on? Now we get, and they look at us like, they don't even want to call no more the community board because what you guys are doing. So we really need to address these issues. Not now, but right now. We had someone on Bushwick Avenue, because of the prostitution that's on there, lock his gate, but I guess he forgot to get the tenants the key to the lock. They wanted to call in the fire department and they cut the gate and they were going to give him a summons because he shouldn't have locked. But they're having sex in their property, in front of their stairs, in their gates. They're going in their gates. How is this even possible? So that is my report. I hope that the mayor, we can sit down with the mayor and or whoever's in charge. I know that Tony
Herbert.
Tony Herbert is no longer with the mayor's office. I don't know what happened. Maybe he's been trying to get sick and tired of me yelling and screaming and went to the mayor's office. So now he resigned. So I don't know what's going on. So we need to find out who's in charge of the mayor's. Oh, Harris, are you part of that now? Talk to us.
I am part of the mayor's office, the community affairs unit.
Oh, so Mr. Herbert's no longer there. You in charge?
He's no longer here. Deputy Commissioner David Lewis will be the contact for now, but he had a conflict tonight, so I joined.
So okay, I hope we can meet with him and we can sit down and find out what's going on with our officers or what's going on with our captain. Maybe he might need some services, or maybe we can go to the precinct, all of us, and maybe start a protest real quick, because they can protest to stop defund the police. So why not we not get no service with taxpayers? These people have 1 or 2 family homes. I got this lady send me an email and a letter that states that she wants to sell her property and wants to leave because it's horrendous. No one's listening to our people. Now they sell the 2 or 3 family homes and all these big people come here and they spend $4,000 or $5,000 and they push the little people. We need help. Our seniors on that area needs help. Why? Why do I gotta sit here and we're all taxpayers and fight for services that we deserve? There's prostitution. There's going on illegal selling in parks. We know the vendors. We need to, if they need to get licenses, let's get licenses to these vendors that need, but they shouldn't be selling food in the park, because if they eat, the kids eat the food and they don't have a license and they get sick or they died, what are we gonna do then? Bushwick Park, there was shooting, the guy ran through the park. What's going on here? We're going back, and it's not even summer yet. Watch when summer comes up. What happened with the NCO program? They're no longer. The A3 precinct is closed. We don't know if it's closed or open. What happened with the NCO program? We want our officers back. We know the officers are working for this time, but we really need to focus on what community really needs the services and what community doesn't. When we know that Bushwick doesn't have, if it has a lot of guns, we want more cops. If it has problems in regards to quality of life issues, we want to have our NCO officers back in here to address some of the concerns and issues that we had at a regular base. Not at this time late at night, because we're supposed to be building relationships, not when we're in bed, when they're doing arrests. We need relationships now, so like that they know who we are and we know who they are, and we can tell them the people who it is or who isn't.
Mr. Camacho, please excuse me. We hear you. This part of the meeting is for reports, and we need to move on, but I hear you, we hear you loud and clear, sir.
Thank
We
you,
hear you loud and clear.
Thank you, Madam Parliamentary. I just felt that people seeing us complaining.
Let him speak, because he's saying what the people in our community need. He's speaking from his heart. He is speaking for the hearts of all of us people in Bushwick community who have worked and lived here all of our lives. He is completely correct. Where are NCOs? Why are there people still out there hooking up there on Bushwick Avenue selling their bodies and doing performance sex acts in front of people's house? I'm not going to linger on this issue, but Mr. Camacho was right. He is our chairperson. He has a right to speak on it. Thank you. This is Martha Brown.
I know there's time, Madam Parliamentary. I understand that, but sometimes we have all these emails and all these letters, and it makes it sound like we're not doing anything, but we are.
Right.
And we want to let the people know that we are fighting for them, and we're going to continue as long as I can. Thank you, Parliamentary.
Yes.
I thank you, Mr. Robert Camacho, because all those pictures and emails that he got, I send it to him that people send to me in the middle of the night. So this is a very, very bad situation.
Yes.
I agree, and I appreciate everything that he said. Every single thing that he said is correct. And I was just trying to get the agenda moving along. That's it. But every single thing he said, I agree with. And I'm glad he spoke. Just got to move on.
I understand. I guess that's my report. I guess we'll set another meeting for another time. Thank you.
Any questions, any comments for Mr. Camacho's report? Going once?
Yes, one thing, Celeste, Annette Spellin. We just need Mr. Harris to put his contact information in the chat.
Yes.
So I want to have Tony Herbert come to my meeting. So I guess Mr. Harris will replace him now, but I need to be able to contact him. Thank you.
So Marcus put the info in the chat a little while ago. Some people were chiming in, and I will also reach out to the deputy commissioner just to make sure he's looped in. So we've already communicated regarding Bushwick Playground, but I was planning to follow up with him, once we figured out who was going to be the right person to invite to the next meeting, Ms. Spellin.
And Celeste, with all due respect, I hope that you also can tell the mayor that we need to see him in Bushwick. We need to hear his, and we don't need to see him on TV or going anywhere else, because when I go vote, I'm not on TV, I'm on the voters box. So we need to hear our concern, hear him, and we need to see him. We don't need to hear him in TV. We need to feel him when see him and make sure that he understands from our heart what we mean and how we've been suffering so many years. It gets me kind of angry and upset that we picked and choose someone that we think that can represent us and help us, and yet we're going backwards. So we really need to tell him how we feel and what we want and what Bushwick deserves. Because if it was the new people fighting, he'll be over here now. But it's the poor
That's
people.
right,
And
that's
we need
right.
this stuff now. And I'm getting sick and tired of us repeating the same thing over. Celeste, just like you tell me all the time, we complain and complain. What are we doing about it? So I'm going to say, what are we doing about it?
Ms. Camacho, this is Joanna Bennett. We have an elected official representing Bushwick who is promoting legalized sex workers. And I think that these people feel emboldened that they have a champion. I think you need to mention that person's name.
Yes,
So the people are aware of this. I think
I'm
you need to
here
mention a name.
and I can speak to that if that's directed at me.
It's not
This is your
you,
council
Ms.
member.
Nurse.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it was directed at me, but I just wanted to say that I can help by connecting with the Sex Workers Project so that it's not just about cops going to those folks. There's an entire network of people to support folks who are in those situations. It's it's not just about having cops go there and just shoo people away. There's more support services provided through that network.
So just to reiterate, without trying to open a can of worms, because this could be its own town hall, but we've had, and I think the frustration is because we've had these conversations with about 4 different commanding officers now, with the chief now, where we always come back to the same conclusion that it's not just the PD that needs to be involved, and various organizations have been tapped to try to provide additional support and resources. You know, the DA's office has been looped into the issues. This is probably maybe once or twice every year that we have these conversations. And, you know, I don't want to be dismissive, and I'm not trying to shade. If anyone knows, I try to be I say it the nice way, but I think everyone here is frustrated because we've reached the point where we keep repeating the same thing, and everyone knows what they say about repeating the same thing. That's the definition of insanity. We're not crazy people here, but yet we have crazy problems that aren't being addressed. And so I think that what Mr. Camacho was trying to pose to those with the ability to do something on this meeting today is, can you please help us and let us do something about it? And then get back to us maybe by our next meeting to see where we're at, as opposed to having the same conversation a year from now and no results. And did I get that right, Mr. Camacho?
I'll just add to Celeste also, Joshua Brown. I want to say, Bushwick, we've been aware of just the whole prostitution issue from Woodbine, and I agree with our councilwoman that we shouldn't criminalize these people because they're not volunteering to sell their own bodies. This is more of a economic issue that this portion of Bushwick is facing, because as if we're honest, these are trans people who are selling sex, and lots of them can't go into regular working places and get them jobs. So given that that's been going on in that area, others feel comfortable coming. I agree it's a quality of life issue for the residents because you don't want this outside of your home. But the NYPD said that they're not going to enforce crimes like this. So in terms of addressing this issue, I would also look at it through the lens of this is an economic issue, because those people are doing that because part of that is they don't have any other means to get work, whether it's discrimination or other means, just so we don't criminalize a population, just as our community faced with drugs and things of that nature in the 90s, to where now this is more of a mental health issue since it's affecting a different demographic. But this is clearly an economic issue in which people from our community can't get them jobs. And since that's how it's been going, it's kind of like that's the known area where you go to get them prostitutes. So
yeah, but I understand that, Joshua, but when you're going, if I were to go into the mayor's house in front of his gate and do that, I bet you I have security there, wouldn't he? That has nothing to do with what they're doing. We're not saying that. why don't they go across the street or somewhere else, or give them a place where they could do it, not inside people's homes and in their gates? And there was a fight and a riot there just the other night with people going into their gates and the owner of the place finding them, and there were fights, and we were trying to get a hold of the cops, and it was all crazy at 3 a.m, and people were calling me that there were fights there with the residents and the people because they were doing it inside their gates. If they're doing it in the street, or they go to Broadway, or they go, no one's saying that. They're going into
Right.
people's properties.
That's right.
Into
Yeah.
people's properties.
So
So maybe
just-
someone can address those questions and issues and concerns that they're going into people's personal property and they're not getting, nothing's being done, and they're leaving all their sex paraphernalia and stuff in their homes, then you tell me that it's all right. But if it's in front of your house, inside your gate, you tell me. It's very easy to paint the picture. They're doing it. It's not that. They can go move them off. The cops should be there moving them along. We're not telling them to lock them up. Move them out, just like they used to do when you used to sell drugs. They move you, you got to move, right? You moved off, they moved on to another spot. They can go somewhere else. We're not saying that, but don't go inside my house, in my gate, and I got to put a padlock on.
Right.
So I think we all have an idea based on these conversations of what exactly is happening. I want to also be mindful of time and respectful. We also have our captain here. So if it's okay with the board, I would like to allow him to respond to some of these issues. Is that okay, everyone?
Good.
Seeing some heads, yes? Captain?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. So yeah, this has been an ongoing issue for quite a while, even way before I was here. But, you know, obviously it's unacceptable that the sex workers would be going into private properties. As I was talking, we were talking earlier in the clergy meeting, if that is the case, please give us a call, 911 immediately, because that is a crime. Crime where we can issue a summons or an arrest, probably an arrest, more than a summons. So I'm not sure about the fight. When was this fight, Camacho, Mr. Camacho? So I could look into it.
On a Saturday night.
This past Saturday?
Yeah, the past Saturday, yes.
All right.
They-
At 3 a.m, you said, correct?
Yeah, about 3, yes.
All right, I gotta look into that because this is the first time I heard of that. Saturday, the 14th. And I'll look into exactly what happened and to see body cameras and things like that. If we did not handle it correctly, that will be addressed, but I could only know that if I look into it. So, but yes, so what we've been doing is presence. You know, the mayor, One Police Plaza put in where we are bringing in 6 cops 4 hours early from the midnights. So they're working from 8:30 to 11:30, and they have to be in certain zones. So we have 3 zones in the 83rd precinct, one in Sector Adam, which is like the Wilson and Halsey area, one in Sector David, which is like the Maria Hernandez area, and then Zone 2, which covers the area that we were talking about, Woodbine, Madison, between Evergreen and Bushwick. So they're there, they have their lights on, and they're patrolling that area, looking for not only for our gang members there, but also they're very aware of the prostitution problem there. And they do address it. How do I know that they're there? Every morning, after every tour, I get we're able to track our vehicles through our computer systems. I get a report every morning where I see where our cars are and were, and I can see that they're in that area, patrolling that area. I have not seen any 911 calls in regards to the prostitution, but we know that's there. I've heard you. We've all heard you, and we are continuing to address that situation. I've had my NCOs do midnights. We actually, we have offered resources. And what's interesting is what Councilmember Nurse said, that one of the people she works with said the other day that we could be the wrong messengers. And I agree with that. I agree that we could be the wrong messengers in regards to offering services, but that, you know, these other nonprofits could come in and address that situation, especially like Mr. Brown said, economically. Because when we talk to them, when we have talked to them in the past, what they have said is, we just want to make money. That's pretty much what they've said. So that is very true. We don't want to arrest people, nor can we arrest them. But this is what we're dealing with. But please, if they are on your property, that is a trespass. That is something that we can and will enforce. It doesn't matter what the judges do to the person, you know, after the fact when we bring them downtown, but we can issue those summonses or arrest. So that's what's going on over on in that area of Woodbine, Madison, and Putnam.
All right. Thank you, Captain. And I know we have to move on, but since you're already speaking, is it okay for the captain to continue his report? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you want, I don't know, Celeste, I don't know if you just wanted to jump into some of the questions, or you just wanted me to, and you know, for time, or just go through.
Yeah, I would say just you know, maybe a briefer than usual overview of anything that we should be aware of in terms of the trends, the crime trends, and then I'm sure if there are any other questions, folks will ask once you wrap that up. All right, no problem. Really quick, the city as a whole is increasing in crimes except for murders. The 8-3 is no exception. But the thing is with us is that we have an increase in grand larcenies. Excuse me, a lot of it being package thefts, a lot of it being thefts from auto. You know, people are leaving their laptops, leaving their phones, and we're seeing an increase in that. What I have also seen lately, which has a concerning trend, is when people are at the gas stations filling up their cars or going to pay. I've seen at least 5 within the past 2 weeks where someone is coming on the other side of the vehicle, opening the doors and stealing their property. So please, when you're at these filling up your gas and your vehicles, please ensure you're either locking the doors, you're very aware of what's going on there. We also have an increase in auto theft. We used to have an increase. The increase was more like a Ford Econo-Lines. I haven't seen that within the past 28 days. Right now, it's just broad. It's whatever is, you know, whatever they could steal or whatever that they're looking for, they're going to steal. So it was Econo-Lines, but please, Econo-Lines will always spike at some points throughout the year. But if you do have an Econo-Line, they're easy to steal. They don't have a key fob. They could just pop the ignition and take it. Burglaries, we're having an increase in burglaries. We have a commercial break-ins. We have a little bit of a pattern up in Sector David where they are cutting the box that controls the gates. They're cutting them, and they're either manually opening the gate, or they're actually, if it's electronic, they're actually hot wiring it to open. So that's what we're dealing with right now. I do have extra patrols to try to combat those grand larcenies, where I'm bringing officers in earlier because they are happening over on the midnights. So we are addressing that by using our resources as best as possible. But the one good thing is that our shootings are down. We're down 50%. We have 4 shootings for the year. We haven't had a shooting since March, and hopefully that trend continues. But we know how last year was a very violent year for the city, and it was a very violent year for the 83rd precinct. But as we deploy our resources to these known violent locations, we hope that we'll be able to continue with the trend downward.
Can you speak on 1122 Bushwick, the event studio?
So we do get a lot of 311 calls from 1122. It's owned by someone, but it's rented by another person, and that person rents it out to the public. That's what we have right now. We do get a lot of calls actually in regards to noise. This past, I believe Saturday or Friday night, we had a call, we had a few calls there that it was loud. Our officers did go. We actually were working with DEP at the time and SLA. We brought SLA and DEP over into that location. SLA did not issue any summonses because they did not find any SLA violations. However, DEP did did write summonses due to the noise level. I believe they wrote 2 and issued it to the owner or who was running the 1122 Bushwick.
Was anyone outside caught with a gun?
So not the A3, but an outside, another precinct, their intelligence officers actually were tracking a known violent offender, and they were tracking him, and he ended up they actually found him in 1122 Bushwick. So when they were closing down, they went in there, found him, saw him, stopped him, and he was arrested for a gun.
And that's
I have a
Any other
question.
question? Go ahead, Joe.
Given that cannabis is legal in New York, what is the NYPD's formal policy regarding cannabis, people smoking outside, and businesses selling cannabis, just as a rule of thumb?
Yeah, so as you said, it's legal. Our policy is, there's like a whole bunch of stipulations, but if you're under 21, you're not allowed to have cannabis. What we can do as the police department is all we can do is really just take it away from the person and voucher it. Other than that, there's really not much more that we do, and that's our policy as of right now, until more is, put down on paper for our policies. When we're talking about smoke shops that sell, we're telling them about the registration through the New York State that they have to do. But right now, we can't do anything about them selling. We can't do anything about them selling because they're over 21. And so right now, we're not enforcing those rules or laws until something more concrete is put on paper and everything is figured out from Albany.
And as far as smoking outside, as if an NYPD officer sees someone smoking, that's totally allowed, correct?
That is correct. There is nothing that we can do.
Okay, thank you.
I would just like to note, for a point of clarification, to my knowledge, it's still not legal to smoke in public parks. We know that that's not always something that's followed, but I don't think that would be any different. If you can't smoke cigarettes in a public park, you're not supposed to smoke anything in a public park. So.
Yes.
Captain, and in regards to 299, the volleyball with the generator, generators and parties at 2-3 in the morning playing volleyball, and the lady wants to sell her house.
I'm going to be speaking with Parks Department in regards to that. See, what we can do in regards to locking or having them come out with us and issuing summonses if necessary. So that's what we're going to be doing with the parks. Right now, we lock up the parks with the Parks Department permission. We reached out to Parks Department. We lock up Irving Square Park, and we lock up Maria Hernandez Park at 2200 hours. And that was in, speaking with the Parks Department. So if we can spread that around to the other parks, we'll see what we can do with that. But I agree with you. They shouldn't be having a generator, which I'm sure is making tons of noise, and people are trying to sleep very late at night when the parks should be closed. Some close at 1, 12. It depends upon the rules that are posted on the park itself, but or some even have sundown. So it depends upon usually what it says, but we could only enforce it if the sign is there. I just want to make sure that's known. So if a park needs a sign so that it can be enforced, that we need to do that as well.
Yeah. And just a point of clarification, this probably goes back at least 3 years ago. All parks in Bushwick should be closed at 10 p.m. There was confusion about what dawn means, what dusk means. Everybody has, it's a very poetic term, but it's not good for enforcement.
Exactly.
So we wanted to make sure that there was a standard. If there are any parks that have outdated signage, this is for anyone. Please check the signage at your local park. Let us know if it doesn't say 10 a.m. We need to make sure the Parks Department knows.
Perfect.
Celeste, can you read
you
some
for
of the
that.
things on the chat if you find?
Yes, I know the most recent thing that I saw, this is just in reference to 1122 Bushwick. They were asking why the party wasn't shut down if there was someone, if there was a known offender there. So I don't know if Captain, you'd be able to speak to that. I know you mentioned it's another precinct, so I'm not sure how they chose to handle it.
Well,
They
the other,
shared that-
the other precinct came in and the party was already done when they went in there and arrested that person.
Got it. Okay. And someone's asking about, yeah, so Putnam Park, Bushwick Playground. And so just another, I guess point of clarification, maybe a point of order. But I would say, wow, this is probably going back to 2015, 2016 at this point. The board did make a recommendation to both the precinct and the Parks Department that 4 parks in the neighborhood should be closed on a regular basis, 2 of which were Maria Hernandez Urban Square, also Bushwick Playground and Heckscher Park, I believe. Those were the 4. Now we know 2 of the 4 are still closed, so we can revisit those conversations just to make sure that we're all on the same page in terms of safety. So that was one of the questions from the chat as well.
Yeah, I believe Parks Department still, from what I know, Parks Department closes Heckscher. We
Okay.
close Irving and Maria.
Got it. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I'll follow up with the park manager.
Follow up
And
with
then
with the Putnam. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then I know that there were some conversations at some point, parks or folks were trying to close the park, but I know they were having some issues, with their staff. No one was listening, and it was hard to get them out of the park. We haven't heard anything about that recently, but we can talk offline.
Absolutely.
And then the last question, and then we'll move on, folks. I know that this is a lot of important information. We just want to be mindful. The last question is, what must the sign on the park say? So they changed park signage recently. It's sometimes difficult to read. They're very tiny print, but somewhere on that sign, it should say the hours of the park. And so you want to make sure that the hours are there and that the park is closing at 10 p.m. Or just let us know if you see a sign that says something that's not 10 p.m. And if you let us know if you don't see a sign at all, because that's a real big problem. But we'll follow up with the Parks Department and make sure we get some signage if it's not there.
Celeste, can I just ask the sergeant something? Concerning the parks, the police department goes by, the guys go by there driving by, they see 300 people after 12 o'clock at night. Why do they gotta call the Parks Department? Parks Department is not working after 7 or 8 o'clock at night. That's why they go to the parks and do whatever they want. That park on Central, like Camacho said, all night long. The one in Woodbine, all night long. All night long. I mean, the police is right there. They go by. Can they just go and talk? I mean, I love the police. God bless them. But somebody got to do something. We cannot do it. The park department is not going to come and do it. Sorry, I apologize.
Thank you, Eliseo. So I think we're emphasizing, right, the increase in concerns. We want to make sure they're addressed before the summer. We know things get more intense during the summer, and we don't want to see anything unnecessarily escalate, because we all know what that means. We don't need any unfortunate tragedies, within the next few months. So I think it's been made very clear. We're going to do what we have to do in following up, make sure everybody has the resources they need to address these concerns. So final call, going once, comments, questions, going once, going twice. I don't see anything in the chat.
I just want to ensure that everyone know that we are working as hard as we can to ensure the quality of life of Bushwick. And this is something that we think about, try to plan for every single day, and just know that we are working hard.
Thank you, Captain. And I know I would be remiss. So Ms. Spellin mentioned this to me a few times, but catalytic converters, is there anything you can say very briefly about catalytic converters? How can folks protect their vehicle?
Yeah, catalytic converters are being stolen throughout the city. We have seen some here and there in Bushwick. I know parking is difficult. in Bushwick, but, you know, the only way to kind of stop it is to have your car parked in a well-lit area. Because what they're doing is they're just driving right up next to it. It looks like a double parked car, and they're getting out and they're immediately just crawling under the car next to them using a Sawzall and cut the catalytic converter, and they're gone within 5 minutes. So, you know, be aware, and I let my guys know as well, my officers know as well that, you know, if they see that, you know, hey, what's going on here? Is it just a double parked car? And also for the residents of the Bushwick, if you do see that and you see someone just looking around the car next to them, please give us a call immediately. This is a citywide problem, and it's not just for Bushwick. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Davis?
Yes, Captain, could you just mention the youth summer program?
Yes, the Summer Youth Program. We are actually, thank God we're able to start the Summer Youth Program this year. Officer Brunash, who was a YCO a few years ago, and I was able to bring him back to run it. It's going to be from July 5th to August 26th, from ages 8 to 12. We have, and it's going to cost $250 a child. We do have forms here if there's anyone who is interested. We're going to be taking 20 kids, and also we're going to be taking donations. Thank you, Ms. Davis, for your donation today. 2 children have been blessed by that donation. So if there's anyone else who would like to donate to, you know, for these kids, these relationships are long lasting, and we want it to be long lasting. And it's just not, I don't want you to think that it's just us babysitting. We're actually going to be at Bushwick High School, 400 Irving. They have a pool there. They're allowing us to use their facilities, and they're allowing us to use their lifeguard as well. And we plan to do a bunch of trips, you know, cultural trips. And I want to make sure that the children of Bushwick are learning and growing, and we can do that together as one.
And you gotta let me know about your connection, because I've been trying to fight that pool to be open for the community, and I gotta know who your connection is, because
I can't get it up, Mr. Camacho.
It's all right, because I know a couple of elected officials here. We're gonna see if we can make it happen.
All right, sounds good.
Very, very exciting and positive note to end on. So thank you, Captain, for the report this evening, and thank you everyone for the thoughtful questions. We're gonna make it happen. We're doing the work. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll move on now. Next, we have our introduction of elected officials and representatives. Please name and contact information only. And I'm gonna go, I wrote down a short list earlier. Took a lot of notes. And I know we had the mayor's office, Marcus. You wanna go, if you're still there, Marcus?
Yep, I'm still here. Marcus Harris, Mayor's Community Affairs Unit. You can reach me at 212-676-3978 or my cell phone 929-287-7469. Email address is gmharris@cityhall.nyc.gov.
Did I take care of that problem over there by your side, man, on Lexington?
No comment.
Thank you, Marcus.
No problem.
Next is Carlos.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're all doing well, especially this better weather makes everything a little bit better. So I'm the Director of Community Relations for Senator Salazar. And I just want to, let everyone know that, the Senator's fighting for good cause eviction. I know that a lot of people have questions about the incredible rent increases. That's a bill that the Senator's trying to pass so that we fight against that. Also, we have a lot of test kits, so please.
Carlos, yeah, sorry, Carlos, respectfully, just name and contact info right now.
All right, yeah, I'll put everything in the chat or contact information.
Perfect, thank you. Evelyn? Are you there, Evelyn? You can come back. Jonathan? Muted just in case. And then Juan. I have Juan here.
Hey everyone. Yeah, hey everyone, this is Juan Mayanceta, a community organizer for Councilmember Jennifer Gutierrez, and I'll drop down the phone number and my email in the chat.
All right. Perfect. And then I know we still, I just want to acknowledge that oh, Yvette, thank you, Yvette. I'm sorry I missed you. Go ahead.
Oh, no worries. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Yvette. First, I wanted to say congratulations to all the nominees. You guys have been great, and Community Board has been super supportive of Bushwick and Williamsburg, Bridgewood. So thank you guys so much for all the work that you continue to do. And my name is Yvette Lopez. I'm the Communications Director for Assemblywoman Maritza Davila. We are located at 249 Wilson Avenue and can be reached at 718-443-1205. Thank you.
Thank you. If there are any other representatives, please raise your hand. It's not intentional. I'm looking at a bunch of little boxes on a screen. And I also want to acknowledge that our council member is still with us. I know in between meetings listening in. Oh, I see Jonathan's hand as well. Jonathan.
Good evening, everyone. This is Jonathan. I bring greetings from District Attorney Eric Gonzalez. Our offices are located at 350 J Street. Our phone number is 718-250-2817. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you, everyone. And the information is in the chat if anyone needs it. Okay, so we will move on now. If there's anything that I missed, please raise your hand. I know we have some folks from organizations and agencies with us this evening. I think for the sake of time, we're gonna let them do that during announcements. Is that okay with the board so we can keep moving? Yep, introduce themselves, give info. Yep,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
thank you. All right, so we will conclude the chairperson's report now. We'll move on now to the district manager's report. I promise to keep it brief. Mr. Camacho and I do attend a lot of the same meetings. And the beginning of my report, I usually write a little bit of information about what's happening in the community, but I think if our conversation this evening has said anything, it's very clear. So as I usually do, I'll start by saying good evening to everyone. And we're glad that you were able to join this evening's meeting. You could see it's a busy, busy time, a lot going on. We had our elections. And I will paraphrase something that I've mentioned to CB4's executive board for the past few months, and that's that there are no issues in Bushwick that are just straightforward. And I, on a daily basis, have been at a loss to explain to folks that are calling for help how to address some of their concerns, because it's never, oh, you know, there's just some garbage or there's like a leaking fire hydrant. It's always, you know, there's a building that was just built that's swaying in the wind, and I think it was illegally constructed. You know, there's a building where folks are, you know, now squatting and doing drugs, and you know, I've tried to report it, but nothing is happening. Or, you know, there's someone who reaches out and says there's a venue that had diesel generators on a block taking up parking for like 8 months, and they tried to report it and nothing happened. And that same venue could be expanding to have a new space with a capacity of over 4,000 people for some type of concert hall. And, you know, folks are looking for guidance. They're looking for support. They want their inquiries to be heard. And I think everyone knows that when you contact us, we do hear you, but it has not been easy to address. The community board, primarily what we do beyond hosting these meetings is refer a lot of these issues to our agency partners. And the other charter mandated responsibility is preparing a district needs statement, which will then of course support those partners to be able to do the work that they're doing. We know a lot of things have changed, you know, budget cuts have been proposed, all of those things, there's a ripple effect. It affects our community. But we're hoping that, you know, we know our elected officials are advocating. We're very fortunate. So I think that we have to keep at it. You know, it's tough, but every day, you know, little things do make a difference. You know, I believe that, and I think a lot of people in this community, we wouldn't be here if we didn't believe that. So I want to say thank you to everyone, because if we didn't have you here with us, we'd just be talking to ourselves. So probably not get as much done, but we have a lot of good people here in Bushwick. So thank you all. And we're going to keep doing what we have to do. So I will speed through some of the meetings that I think are important for everyone to hear about. A lot of exciting things that are happening. You know, it's a lot of tough stuff, but there's a lot of exciting stuff, right? So on April 21st, I spoke with Linda Mackey from New York State Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation. This was regarding Bushwick's preservation priorities. Some folks may recall that we have a historic preservation working group, I want to give a quick shout out to Queens CB5, in particular, their district manager, Gary Giordano, and also one of their board members, Paul Kersner. They were both able to connect me with the Greater Ridgewood Restoration Corp, who provided me with the contact for this state office. There is interest in working with Bushwick, but of course it all comes back to, capacity. What they did in Ridgewood is essentially applied for funding where they could have a consultant come in and do the work, right? To prepare an application, prepare a report. A lot of the buildings in Ridgewood too, think about it, they're very similar. Parts of Bushwick used to be Ridgewood. So we're hoping that, we'll be able to continue building capacity and momentum around our preservation goals in the neighborhood, but we definitely have folks paying attention and that know it's just a matter of connecting the dots. And then on the same day, I spoke with city planning regarding their civic engagement studio. This was specifically the Broaden and Diversify Community Input Team. Some of you may recall last year, the board did something for the first time, which is essentially create a series of surveys that were supposed to be used to supplement all of the budget request information that they review every year. So all of that feedback will be reviewed and we'll be continuing that process. They wanted to hear, what inspired those efforts, learn a little bit more about how folks get excited about participating in the community, that kind of thing. And then we just wrapped up, the community board's office had a fellow from the Fund for the City of New York. She finished the final report, which is a report on home ownership in the neighborhood. So we have a lot of great qualitative and quantitative data that will be going to the Housing and Land Use Committee. I'll be speaking with Ann and Mr. Camacho, and we'll be following up, reviewing that, and hopefully using it as a foundation to create a space for homeowners, for small homeowners, any homeowner in reality, if you want to participate, all the meetings are public, but really a space for folks to learn a little bit more from each other and to hear about some of the resources and some of the challenges, shared challenges that everyone has, just to strengthen our social infrastructure. And we're also still working on our Bushwick sanitation campaign. We know there's garbage literally everywhere. We get videos all the time of people walking from their building into someone else's building, putting garbage there. We can't explain that, but what we can do is make sure people know that, we're here to provide the resources and support. And we also know everybody plays a role in keeping the neighborhood clean. A big shout out to the Clean Bushwick Initiative, the Maria Hernandez Dog Run Pack, to Sal from Tony's Pizza, Riseboro. These are a lot of our sanitation working group members. They attend almost every single meeting. Folks that I did not call out by name, I apologize, but we do thank you for participating and being involved. And next, I have another community board related discussion, but this time with the Civic Engagement Commission. So some of you may recall that I've been working with colleagues citywide from all the boroughs regarding the future of community boards. The Civic Engagement Commission was given this report and they wanted to find out how it's been received. They wanted to know how they can be helpful in terms of trainings for community boards. I know our board members have seen and attended some of those trainings. I'm glad. They did also take notes on, making sure that the information being provided is relevant to the community boards. Sometimes I think there was just one training where the individual conducting it didn't provide advice that was pertinent to community boards and it caused some confusion, but they are working on it and they're trying to staff up and make sure that they're providing the support that is mandated by the city's charter to the community boards. And we'll be continuing those conversations. Friday, April 29th, this is important. We referenced this briefly during last month's meeting, but National Grid is still conducting their service line inspections. This is different from local law 152. This is another mandate that National Grid has to complete, and they've reached the point where after all of the mailers, all of the phone calls, there's still some folks that have not gotten back to them, and they don't want to find anyone. We have information in the board's office. We also have a list of those that have not gotten back to them. They're still continuing their efforts. We would like to assist them any way that we can. So we'll be making sure to review that list and giving them feedback if we happen to know folks in those areas. And next, on Monday, May 2nd, I had a conversation with a Columbia University data science team. This is particularly exciting. We submitted some proposals for potential projects for the community to the Department of Design and Construction's Town and Gown program. All of these are public data science projects that students would potentially be working on. So I look forward to sharing more information about that soon once that team convenes. And then moving forward, Mr. Camacho mentioned the IBX Interborough Express project status briefing. Some of you may know this is the new railway that's being proposed all the way from Bay Ridge, I believe, up until, I don't actually know where it ends. So, but it goes from Bay Ridge through Brooklyn, passes through Bushwick, and I'm pretty sure it goes into Queens. So after that, everything just stops at the Brooklyn border for me. I don't see anything outside of Bushwick. But that being said, we're going to be hearing more about that soon, and it's pretty exciting. It would be connected to the Wilson Avenue L station for those that are familiar. And we are a ways away from it becoming a reality, but they are looking and exploring feasibility. And on May 10th, there was an Arts and Culture Working Group meeting. Thank you to the members that also participate in that. That space was really created to make sure that folks that, whether they've been in the community forever, they've just gotten to the community, they have a space to connect and share information about the projects that they're doing. It was a brief meeting. El Puente was there talking about some of their upcoming events and activities. They also shared that they were able to restore the mural by Bushwick Playground. A lot of us may know that mural. It's a very beautiful mural. There are issues there, parks, there's a lot of work to be done in the community. We want to make sure that that retaining wall stays and is still a wall, doesn't crumble. But at some point that mural will have to be changed. And I think that that's a conversation that was acknowledged during that meeting. But for now, we get to enjoy it and its tradition and the legacy of that mural. And the last thing I will share is regarding emergency management support center tour. So I know Mr. Camacho referenced this. It was a great tour. There are a lot of more than you would believe happening there. But any incident, whether it's an environmental incident, whether it's a health incident, any emergency, they are deploying units and coverage from Bushwick, whether it's a fire. We have a team very close by, so folks can rest a little bit assured that if there was ever anything in Bushwick, they'll be really close to respond. And it's a great asset that we have in the community. We were very thankful for the tour and the wealth of knowledge. We learned so much. I have so much great trivia. And then 2 quick announcements in regards to the Interborough Express. There's going to be a public meeting tomorrow evening. And there's some information that's going to be streamed online, and you can also call in by the phone. Feel free to reach out for any information. And then one last thing, to also end on a positive note, the Brooklyn Botanical Garden let us know that there's less than a month until contest entry closed for the Greenest Block in Brooklyn contest. So can we get the Greenest Block in Brooklyn? Bushwick, can we do it? Let's find out, yeah? So that's all I have for everyone today. That concludes my report. And I'll take any questions going once.
Okay,
twice.
Martha here.
Yes.
Here.
Yes.
It's not as far as the connector. I believe, to my knowledge, that those same freight tracks that run along run past Broadway Junction back next to Wilson Avenue. That is a freight spur. That same freight spur that they are going to try to make that the connector for the new hopefully subway system.
Correct.
And that same freight tracks runs out into Queens. I think that's what you're probably referring to.
Yes, absolutely. I just couldn't remember the path after you get past Queens because I haven't looked at the map recently. So
Yes. It runs back through. Alongside. I guess the freight tracks are alongside Forest Park, and that connector goes back into, I guess, Middle Village. I believe it's probably Middle Village or that area back there. And if many people know Flatbush, it's the same tracks. It's the same freight tracks that run along from through Flatbush, like Utica Avenue. If you ever seen, those are the same freight tracks. So that much I do know.
Amazing. Thank you, Ms. Brown. That's our former. Ms. Brown can share a lot about our transit corridors. We've had many a conversation. Thank you so much.
She's our encyclopedia.
Yeah. So I see Amani's hand. Yeah.
Yes, I just wanted to know, on Knickerbocker, the pharmacy Kropner, does anybody have any information why they closed? My family has been going there for years and then they just closed. I was so distraught and confused.
I don't know if Barbara, if you know anything or if anyone knows, but we know it's been tough, right? You know, between the pandemic. Go ahead, Barbara.
Talking to Barbara Smith?
Yes, Barbara Smith.
Oh, they sold it, like everybody else is selling property around here. They sold the business. Walgreens is coming.
Oh, wow.
That's even better.
Oh, boy. Yes.
That's what it is. His father had it, and now the son has it, so it's been in Bushwick for over 50, 60 years.
I'm sorry, what was the business? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the.
Oh, Kropner's Pharmacy on
Kropner's
Knickerbocker.
got sold?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the pharmacy. So now they say they sold the business to Walgreens. So most likely they sold the space because he owned that whole business here. He even owns the Burger King parking lot. He owns a lot. Yeah, so that's what's happening now. And the money's talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay.
he was having a lot of times I had spoken to him. He was having a lot of issues too with the plaza too, that they were selling the same thing he was selling and he couldn't make any money. So he was
Yeah.
only making the money off of the drug of the
That's what I said. The money-
prescription drugs. He told me I sat with him and he said that there's no way that he can continue doing that if they're gonna continue selling outside and that's why everybody anyway. I have a crazy saying on it, but I keep my comments to myself because sometimes people
Money
think that.
talks and you know what walks.
Yeah.
It's tough. There's a lot that goes into these decisions. And unfortunately, you know, people are forced to make a difficult choice. And it's not so difficult when you have folks that are investing tons of money into Bushwick now. So
That's it, yeah. And let me tell you, the pharmaceutical companies are the ones making the money. So you know, that's why a lot of pharmacies, the little, mom and pop pharmacies, they're closing down. They can't keep up with the pharmacies. The medical service, but their medicine is so high, So it's terrible, terrible.
if there's not, thank you, everyone. If there's nothing else under my report, I'll keep us going. I don't want to get too many calls tomorrow saying I kept you all so late. So next we have our committee reports, starting with Civic, Public Safety, Religious. Ms. Spellin.
Good evening. Just so you know, I got back my secondary test from our trip over to the OEM, and it was negative, thank God. For the sake of time, I would suggest that anyone that needs a copy of my report, reach out to the community board and get it from Celeste. We did quite a bit during our meeting, and Mr. Camacho and the captain has touched on some of the stuff that we talked about. So just to move this meeting along, I would suggest if you want a copy of my report, reach out to Celeste and she will give it to you. Is that okay with the board?
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
All right. Next, thank you, Ms. Spellin. And next we have Economic Development and Permits and Licenses. Desmond, do you want to give an overview or do you want us to cover it?
It's a lot. I was looking at it, trying to see how I can make it shorter so I wouldn't be going 10 o'clock. Do we have to vote on any of this stuff?
Yeah, the SLA applications, yeah.
All right, so it's just a lot, so not my fault, it's their fault. All right, we have agenda item, New York State liquor license application. It's just music, DBA, the Brooklyn Skyline. The establishment was scheduled to appear per the committee approval recommendations in December 2021. The owner provided a brief update about the establishment progress. It's not open yet, estimated to be open in 3 weeks. AMK Brooklyn, 880 Flushing Avenue, located in the corner of Bushwick Avenue and Flushing Avenue. In April, the PLC chairperson requested that the owner submit revised before liquor license application form and return to the committee in May owner submitted updated form, i.e. amended hours of operations. Their intended sale of alcohol hours as stated in the committee meetings are as follows: 7 days a week, Monday through Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. Thursday through Saturday is 11 a.m. to 4 a.m. and Sunday 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. EDC chairperson informed the owner of the stipulation no alcohol past 12 a.m. on Sundays. Owner agreed to the stipulation. EDC chairperson invited the owner to attend the CB4 regular monthly meeting on May 18th. I don't think they're here. And CBP office provide meeting information. Number 3, the Italiana Corp, 160 Irving Avenue. It's new, located between Stockholm Street and DeKalb Avenue. Establishment has been operating as an Italian restaurant for almost 2 years. The owner is applying for WBC liquor license. Liquor license in hopes to increase revenue. Their intended sales of alcohol hours are stated in the committee's meetings are as follows: 7 days a week, Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Friday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. EDC chairperson informed the owner of stipulation no alcohol past 12 a.m. And on Sundays, owner agrees to the stipulation. Attorney for the establishment submitted amended hours of operations on 5/11 to reflect CB4 stipulations. Establishment owner has conducted outreach with the neighborhood. EDC chairperson encouraged the community outreach to nonprofit organizations, the 83rd precinct. EDC chairperson invited the owner to attend the CB4 regular monthly meeting on May 18th. CB4 office has provided meeting information. Number 4, MAC Molly Group, LLC DBA, 104 Wilson Avenue, located between Star Street and Troutman Street. The establishment owner has worked as a chef for many years and looking to open up a Thai and Japanese infused restaurant in the community. The intended sales of alcohol hours as stated in the committee meetings are as followed: 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday, 11:30 a.m. to 11. Hours of operation fall within CB4 stipulations. No alcohol past 12 a.m. on Sundays. EDC chairperson encouraged owner to hire locally and conduct outreach with neighbors, local nonprofit organization in the 83rd precinct. EDC chairperson invited them to attend the CB4 regular monthly meeting on May 18th, and CB4 office provided information. Honey Mustard LLC, located at 140 Wilson Avenue. It's new license located between Willoughby Avenue and Snydham Street. Establishment owners have been minority owners of the current establishment in its place, Alphaville, since 2014, and now are in the process of taking over the business. This would be considered a new application plus temporary retail permit transfer application. Their intended sales of alcohol hours, as stated in the community meetings, are as follows: 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday, from 5 p.m. to 4 a.m. Monday through Sunday, 5 p.m. to 4 a.m. Owners were made aware of CB4 stipulation, no alcohol past 12 a.m. on Sunday. EDC chairperson and CB4 chairperson expressed concerns / disapproval regarding hours of operation, as it would affect quality of life for tenants, neighbors. CB4 community liaison informed the suggested hours for establishment are as follows: Monday through Wednesday, closing at 2, Thursday through Saturday closing at 4, and Sunday closing at 12. Well, no serving alcohol at 12. Establishment owners were asked to resubmit the forms with limited hours of operation that will the CB4 will consider stipulation before full board meeting on 5/18. Owners stated they will discuss with their attorney before submitting forms. Before submitting new forms, the establishment will be re-invited to the committee in June. Due to controversial hours of operation, the committee agreed to table the vote until June. The June meeting, and CB4 community liaison will follow up with the district manager regarding this. Agenda 2, Bushwick Community Plan. reviewed relevant recommendations for C Board Chairperson, EDC Chairperson, reviewed the BCP relevant recommendations. The committee concerned information was accurate and no additional feedback necessary. Committee meeting on none recommendations. Do we do this now or later?
Later.
Recommendations. Okay, yeah, recommendations for them. All right, thank you.
You did a fine job, man. You worked today. I like that.
All right.
And I know, you know what was funny? Because I saw you looked and you saw the hours and your head said, what? This can't be right. Did I read it wrong? Your 100% right. You read it right.
Yep. All right. So we'll move on now to the next report. We have, environmental protection, transportation, sanitation, plus parks and recreation. I'm not sure if Ms. Jackson made it on. Barbara Jackson, are you there? All right. I don't hear Barbara. I know she's out of town. She has to be excused. So I was not at that meeting, but Kim, would you be able to share who was there, a brief overview?
Actually, Ms. Jackson is on. She's one of the phone numbers. I'm just asking her to unmute.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Barbara.
Yeah. Yeah. Good
Hey,
evening,
you did
everyone. No, I was on the whole time, but I didn't know on either. Okay, about the town. I don't have my notes, but I went to a couple of meetings. Some of the meetings, the same meetings that Celeste and Robert went to, but we did have one, and for one company on Flushing Avenue where they wanted to move a bus stop. They wanted a letter to move a bus stop. And then we had an emergency meeting for Bushwick Park because there was a problem with the vending and the kids playing baseball and the grown-ups playing volleyball. So that was supposed to be looked into, and I believe it was the captain, don't get me wrong, and he's supposed to be looking into things and speaking to his officers and letting them know that this league does have the playground and those hours on that day. You can read the rest of my report in the report. And I thank you.
Perfect. Amazing. Thanks, Barbara. All right. And next is housing and land use. And I can also summarize if you need me to, up to you.
Yeah, so I apologize. I had to miss that meeting. I was asleep in bed with COVID. So Celeste was able to do that. I can give the very brief and committee mail. And if you can give the substance of the meeting, that would be terrific. So it was a no vote situation. Gabriel Jameson, Policy and Research Fellow from the Center for New York City Neighborhoods, presented on the Black Home Ownership Project, which is about understanding and maintaining and developing tools to make sure that Black home ownership still stays. But I think Celeste can give a better review of that. Also, the review of the Bushwick Community Plan. And then I'll just quickly buzz through the committee mail. So 1325 Broadway, which is, I think, something we've all been watching, which is a very large as of right building along Broadway and Linden. There's been a lot going back and forth today in terms of construction notices. So we're watching that very closely and are trying to understand exactly what's going on. Number one, there's also notice about the rent guidelines for anyone in a rent stabilized apartment. There's still active discussion about what the final rent guidelines are going to be. They're a little bit lower. I think there is still opportunity for public input. Also 826 Flushing Avenue, which if you remember, it used to be an old Seatown supermarket. It's that whole block right along Beaver. They're doing some excavation there. That's going to be a 47 unit building. This is the first I have seen of note of that in the committee mail. Maybe Celeste, you may know more about that, but it's right across from Bushwick Houses. Also 48 Bleecker Street. This is an affordable housing notice. It's not affordable. It is 1 bedroom at $2,300 for affordable housing. So I don't think that's super useful. 2 bedrooms at $2,500. So, I mean, that's a larger conversation that we will pick up. There's also a demolition for 24 Dodworth. Also 233 Linden, which is a project we've been talking about a lot, which is that 153 units of senior housing that finally got the go-ahead. So that's exciting. That got funded by HPD at the cost of $12 million or some support there. 144 Knoll is a remedial. It's a 1-story industrial building at the moment. It's actually just a block behind me. But it has some low to mid levels of pollution that's going to be cleaned up, which presumably that is a preface to some future development. So we will be watching that very closely. 1160 Flushing Avenue is, if you remember, it's that very low building right at the corner of Irving. It's gray. It's been pretty much closed down for the last 20 plus years. They finally knocked that down and are doing some, I walked by the other day, there's construction fence up. The building itself is gone. It used to be a florist or something, but I think it's been closed for 20 plus years. And then they're doing some excavation. And then 60 Cedar Street, there is a demolition notice. So that is the committee mail. That's a lot. And I guess I'm going to follow up with Celeste and would like to check in with everybody what the best way to follow this information. Maybe we make a map or maybe we make a spreadsheet so we can actually look at this, because I realize this is a lot to throw at people about all of this. So maybe Celeste and I will put our heads together and come back next month with a better solution for this. But I apologize. I was not able to be there for the meeting, and Celeste will thank you, fill in for what actually you discussed at the meeting.
Yeah, thanks, Anne. That was a great overview. And like I said earlier, there's a lot going on in Bushwick, and in particular for the Housing and Land Use Committee. Even though a lot of these things don't come through as a presentation, we will get notices. So we want to make sure everyone is aware. If you ever have questions about something happening on your block or a concern, please call us, call 311, call us. Yes. And Anne pretty much summarized everything else. We had a discussion, the Center for New York City Neighborhoods, they're looking for funding to be able to provide additional services and resources for homeowners, particularly for their Black homeownership project. There was a survey. I know some folks requested it on the board by mail. Please take a look online. I don't know if someone's able to drop that link in the chat, if they have it on their website, but it's the Center for New York City Neighborhoods. They provide resources for homeowners, small homeowners throughout the city. And then also we have the Bushwick Community Plan. It was only the zoning recommendations. I want to quickly thank Borough Hall. Ina Gusenfeld was on with us. Also City Planning, our new liaison for Bushwick, Colin, as well as Carenza, who folks may remember from the planning process. They were all able to provide some technical insight into some of the questions that we weren't able, some of the zoning designations that we weren't able to really elaborate on. It's an ongoing iterative process. We're reviewing this, refining it. This is all part of the board's district needs, larger district needs process, and we'll keep everyone posted. Some folks asked, why are we doing this? Are we going to start talking about the rezoning again? I think the goal is for us to reassess, to make sure we're updating the language for this plan, looking at the areas where we may have negotiated against ourselves, making sure everything's relevant, and then basically, sending that to our elected officials saying, hey, listen, we've done the work. We want to get a better idea of what's possible for Bushwick. And so I think it's a conversation that's happening. We want to get a better sense of what the mayor's office is thinking in terms of their priorities as well, their vision for housing and development in the city. And hopefully we can align some of those priorities and protect Bushwick in the process. So we don't end up too far gone from where we are now. But everything is ongoing. We will keep everyone posted. And also want to thank both council members, Councilmember Nurse and Councilmember Gutierrez for meeting with us in April to provide some preliminary insight into what they're hearing from their end. And I think I feel like there was one thing that I thought of, but it's gone now. Oh, yeah, the next meeting is gonna be on the 30th? When is the last
31st.
Tuesday? 31st, thank you. Yes, thank you so much. All
Thank
right,
you,
31st, and that's it for housing and land use.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Celeste.
All right,
Andy Nurse has
and
a question.
yes, Councilmember Nurse.
Sorry, I just want to request that, and hopefully that you all can discuss, and I'll send over the slides if needed, Broadway Junction, and the proposal going there. I know the summer meetings are gonna close down and there might not be time for that, but the other side district is moving on that in their community board. So I'm just making the pitch. I did mention it, I know Celeste and I talked about it, so I just want to throw that out on the radar to hopefully land use can dive into that proposal as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Nurse, if you can send that, like, it's absolutely like what affects that side affects us, and we want to support the whole wider community. So please do, absolutely.
Great.
Thank you.
Got it. And I see, yeah, the link, thank you, Kim. The link for the Center for New York City Neighborhoods is in the chat. And then we also had a question from Luisa Jose. We don't know what they're building at 60 Cedar yet, but we do know that there was, a notice regarding, but we can look into it and try to get more information. All right, I see no other hands, no other questions in the chat or Q&A. We will move on now to our recommendation. Thank you. Yes, thank you, everyone. And I believe it's only permits and licenses this evening for recommendations, if I'm not mistaken. All right, Desmond, do you have the recommendations up?
I do. All right. So the recommendations. No, I don't have them. Well, I have what I read before, but I don't.
So essentially it's paraphrasing what you said before. So, and so based on my notes, I have here, if you would like for me to go through them, I know that there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. There might be 5. And
Yes,
Kim,
please.
please jump in. Yeah, jump in if I'm missing anything. But
So-
80 plus, go ahead. Yeah, go.
Okay, sorry. So there was 5 establishments on the agenda, but we only voted on 4 because the first one was just an update. But there are 4 recommendations for the for this portion.
Okay, and can you just run through the addresses and the hours one by one?
Yes, so the first recommendation was for the committee made a motion to vote in approval of the establishment for AMK Brooklyn 880 Flushing Ave, located on the corner of Bushwick Ave and Flushing Avenue, with the hours that were stated at the committee meeting were 7 days a week, Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 2 a.m., Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 4 a.m. and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. and with the recognition of the stipulations in place.
Okay, is there a motion from the board for this recommendation? Someone?
I recommend that we approve with stipulation.
Felix Ceballos, second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions?
Alvina Davis, abstain.
Okay, so moved. All right, next, Kim.
The next one is the committee made a motion to vote in approval of the establishment Sapore d'Italia Corp. That's at 160 Irving Avenue, located between Stockholm Street and DeKalb Avenue, with the hours stated at the time of the committee, which were 7 days a week, Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m., Friday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. and with the recognition of stipulations in place.
Motion from the board. Anne makes a motion. Is there a second?
Camacho makes a second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Alvina Davis abstains.
So moved. Next.
Okay, the committee made a motion to vote in approval of the establishment May Molly Group LLC located at 105 Wilson Avenue, located between Star Street and Troutman Street, with the hours stated at the time of the committee meeting, which were 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday, from 11:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. The hours fall within the CB4 stipulation, which is no alcohol past 12 a.m. on Sundays. So the recognition of these stipulations are already in place.
Motion from the board?
I make a motion, Barbara Jackson, make a motion.
Second?
Joshua Brown, second.
Joshua, seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Alvina Davis abstains.
Thank you. So moved. Next.
Okay, the committee made a motion to table any recommendation for Honey Mustard LLC, 140 Wilson Avenue. This is located between Willoughby Avenue and Saddam Street. This establishment did not get back to us with amended hours, and we did send an email yesterday, so we did not hear back.
So, Mr. Camacho, you want me to provide context, or do you want to speak on
Yes,
this?
I wanted, as everybody saw Desmond's face when you saw the hours at 4 a.m, and this establishment is taking over another place that used to be there, so their hours are not grandfathered in. So I think, and I said to table it, but I know they're not gonna come back. They're gonna go to the SLA and put in according to what they have. So what I think we should do is put into what we make the recommendations on. This is my recommendation on what we normally give the people there. So like that, when they go to the SLA, they'll say, well, they made this the recommendation. They have to determine, instead of them going 4 a.m. 7 days a week. You know what's 4 a.m. 7 days a week? And he says even Sundays. So we really need to make a recommendation, because then we don't know what the SLA gonna do. They're their own body. We're only an advisory. So I guess we should advise him or them in regards to the hours that this community wants to give them, that them dictate to us. But if the SLA feels that they can give it to them, then they're gonna do whatever they need possible. But once we have what we have in writing, and we find out later on if they are a bad neighbor, then we can say we told you so. But if we leave it blank and we leave it up to the SLA, guess what? We're gonna get what we got. So I make a recommendation that we give them the hours according to what the community board normally do, which is Kimberly is gonna indicate now.
Yes, so the suggested hours for establishments that come before the committee are as follows: Monday through Wednesday, closing at 2 a.m., Thursday through Saturday, closing at 4 a.m., and Sunday closing at 12 a.m.
Just a point of clarification, it's sale of alcohol. Just, they can stay open, but yeah, it's sale of alcohol hours. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Is there a motion for this recommendation from the board?
I make a motion, Barbara Smith.
Felix Ceballos, second.
Oh, Felix beat you to it, Ms. Spellin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Alvina Davis.
Go on.
Any? Okay, I'm sorry, Ms. Williams, or did you abstain as well, Ms. Williams? Or-
I abstain.
Okay, 2 abstentions. Okay. And if I may make a suggestion, just because I see that it wasn't noted in the recommendations, usually we also add no amplified music. I don't know if anyone plans to have outdoor anything, but I would just say, since it's a standard stipulation, we should put it in just to be safe, so they don't put a speaker. I leave that out there. If anyone would like to make a motion on that, that's up to the board.
I come out to make a motion.
I, Martha Brown, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Alvina Davis.
And me too, Carlotta Williams.
I I really think that this board just a point of clarification in regards to what's going on now that everybody wants to use Bushwick as a nightlife activity in regards to all these establishments and all these corners that Bushwick is only a place to come drink and have party and don't get and get on a train and leave. We really need we really need to focus and let all these elected officials or write something down in this board and indicate that 500 rule and make sure we enforce whatever needs to be done in regards to what's going on in CB4, because we're gonna sit here. This is nothing. We're gonna have every corner of Bushwick Avenue is gonna have a wine, cheese, and then their numbers are gonna say, well, according to my square footage, and this is what they say, and it's kind of disheartening to treat this community like this and say, well, because according to my square footage, I can't make the money if I don't operate 7 days a week to 5 in the morning, when people that live in this community and sleep on top of some of these places got to go to work. Now they're working from home and have all these establishments coming in here and going, ching, ching, let the cash register ring. So this board really needs to focus on finding out what is it that we can do to make sure that this community don't get flooded with nightlife activities, drinking. Now we got drinking. My philosophy is now we have drinking. We have legal prostitution. We have open container. We have outside reefer, legal, outside thing. So we really need to focus and educate ourselves and make sure that this community continue to keep the people that make this community what it is, us.
And it's amazing that they opening up all these bars and restaurants, and then people going to court for rent strikes. They don't want to pay rent, but you can find.
They don't exactly.
So
and another thing I'd like to add, and when Celeste does that, when you make that recommendation regarding the hours of this place, just put a note in there when you advise them, tell them a copy of the board's recommendation will be going to the New York State Liquor Authority as well. So they'll know what your recommendations are, and they know that you forwarded your recommendation to the SLA.
Thank you. Thank you,
Mr. Thank you, Mr. Camacho.
Thank you.
So I believe that concludes our recommendations. I know we are past our time to conclude, but Kim, do you have something really quick?
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring up for the Environmental Protection, Transportation Sanitation Committee, there was a establishment owner who came to ask for a letter of support regarding the bus relocation. And the committee had voted to not give them the letter of support. I'm not sure if that was something to just bring up during this time.
Yeah. Just to flag, there doesn't need to be a formal vote because they said no, so it ends in committee, but it's good to just remind everyone that that was stopped at the committee level. So thank you, Kim. Yes,
and the reason why.
Yes, on that, just out of curiosity, of the bus relocation request that got denied.
Okay, the relocation request was, real quick, I'll dead it real quick. It was that they wanted to use the front for the opening stuff. So we go around, they want to do the outdoor dining.
I remember, I just want to know the address. I'm sorry, I had missed that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you.
No, that's all.
I think it's 930 Flushing, Tabare.
Oh, I know exactly where that is. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So they wanted, so if we're gonna give a letter of recommendation to move all the bus stops to accommodate outdoor dining, then we'll be sitting here taking out all the buses out of Bushwick, which is close to the train station, because we might have seniors that can't walk another block or two, so that the train station is close to there, because that's right adjacent to the Woolston Avenue train station.
Yep.
It's Morgan actually, but yeah.
Morgan, but it's right there. So they wanted us to move it a block over. I said, yeah, but a senior that's on a wheelchair or someone that's handicapped can't walk over the extra block. So we're inconveniencing them. Thank you.
All right. So I believe that's it for recommendations. And if that is, then we have reached, I think, everyone's favorite part of the meeting, where we have old business. Anyone have old business? Going once, going twice. Next is new business. I do have one item of new business. This is not to open a can of worms, just to alert everyone that we did receive an inquiry from someone that intends to open up a cannabis retail store in Bushwick. They are exploring the feasibility We have not been contacted by the New York State Cannabis Control Board yet. However, a representative from the governor's office, after persistent inquiry from Community Board 1, finally responded and said, we will be contacting you with more information soon. The community board is specifically listed in their guidance as the municipality providing guidance. So this may be something coming to our permits and licenses committee in the future, and we will keep everyone posted as we learn more. That is all I have for new business.
I
Any
have
other
some
new
new business.
Oh, go ahead.
I have some new business. I think this is so on the 31st, the Housing and Land Use Committee and Economic Development Committee, we're going to be meeting. Meetings going to take place on 5/31 regarding 160 Flushing Avenue. City planning will be proposing an increase in industrial capacity. We really need a quorum for there. So everybody who is on the, well, not everybody, but we need a quorum. So permit and licensing and economic development, along with housing land use. If you guys can all just take a minute to be on that meeting, so that way we can really get some stuff done on that day. That'd be great.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, I believe that that's it for new business. Going once, going twice. And next is announcements. Anyone with an announcement, please raise your hand, raise your hand, raise your hand, raise your hand. Ms. Davis?
Yes, I just want to do a quick one for the Shape Up Bushwick. It's Thursday, June 9th, between the hours of 11 and 2, the actual event, but setup time is at 10 a.m. at Irving Square Park. We will be on Warefield between Wilson and Knickerbocker. Our theme will be pressing forward, standing united. Our colors are purple and yellow. We will be giving food distribution, PPEs, bags, masks, such and such. Our rain, if it rains, we have a rain location that's 422 Central Avenue. And we have our last meeting on May 26th at 2 p.m. And we're asking everyone who's going to participate, anyone who wants to volunteer, to attend the Zoom meeting on the 26th.
Perfect.
Arena, we forgot something.
What?
Oh, excuse me.
What did we forget?
we forgot that we got the DJ.
Oh, you did get the DJ. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know the A3 Precinct Council donated the money to pay for the DJ, and also going to donate some water. So thank you, Barbara Smith and all her council for supporting that DJ. We have DJ Woody Wood.
Yep. Yep.
All right, perfect. Next, we have Mr. Camacho announcement.
Yeah, don't forget June 12th, Boricua Day, Sunday, Knickerbocker Park. Bring your flags, bring everything you want, whatever flag you want to wear, any flag, I don't care. Let's just get it going.
All right. Marcus?
Hi, everyone. I just want to, there's two things I just want to remind everybody about. The Mayor's Community Affairs Unit is there to be the liaison between all the city agencies to navigate. If there is something that's needed, please feel free to send me the information. I will make sure that we address it. In addition, Celeste and Camacho, if there is an issue in which an agency is not appearing on the cabinet service meeting, please let me know immediately, because we want to make sure that issues are addressed with the appropriate agencies.
We want to thank, they mostly all of them come, but we give them homework, and we don't get to follow up on some of their homework. So we want to make sure that they make sure they take care of it. It's easy for them to come there and go, yeah, they got it, and then you come back to another place, and before you know it, nothing gets done. So I don't want to keep repeating ourselves, like I said.
Well, no, and that's what our job is to maintain that. The problem is that if we don't know, then we don't know. But I spoke to Commissioner Kreisman yesterday. The idea is that we have to make sure those people are on, and if they're not on or they're not addressing the issues, we need to know about it immediately, so the commissioner can reach out to the other commissioner. And secondly, as we know, COVID cases are going up. There are some things we're doing at home kits. There are about, I believe it's 16 million of them being given out. So I will reach out to Celeste to figure out a way that we can drop some off to Brooklyn. You guys know I live down the street, so not a problem. That's it
We
for
know
me.
where you live.
Got it. And I want to say briefly, Marcus, just so you know, and everyone knows, the Deputy Commissioner for the Mayor's Community Affairs Unit, the 2 times that I've previously called for any concerns, I got a response so fast. I was like, wow, is this how you guys work now? He was like, I can't guarantee it every time, but at least we got it done. So I was like, but I'm saying we know, and we thank you, Marcus, and we're glad that we have a resource in the Community Affairs Unit to make sure that if we're not getting a response, or if we have any concerns about any agencies, that they're able to be addressed. So thank you.
Yeah,
Not a problem.
Marcus, and you didn't let them know I took care of that problem with you over there on Lexington. I'm only kidding.
All right. Next we have Juan. Juan is next.
Can I make an announcement?
Oh, yeah, sorry, Barbara. I didn't, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to let the community know that one of our bar restaurants donated $1,500 to one of our resident family shelters. The money he made Mother's Day, he gave us half. He was so upset because he said he only made it a little money. The name of the restaurant is Claris. The food is good. They deliver. He gave us half of his earnings. So my council is going to deposit the check here, and it's 60 mothers in the shelter. It's 87 families, but it's 60 women. The rest are single fathers. So we're going to divvy up the $1,500 and $25 each to 60 mothers in the shelter. I want everybody to know.
Great
one
news.
Of the restaurants that's taking money out, he put some more back in, and he donated a $250 summer camp to whoever they're gonna give it to.
Perfect.
That's wonderful. 53 Wilson Avenue.
Thank you, Barbara. That's great news.
Yep,
All right.
good.
And Juan is next.
Yes, Councilmember Gutierrez and the District 34 team want to wish Camacho a happy belated birthday. So happy birthday, Camacho. We also want to thank
you.
everyone who came out to the swearing in ceremony this Sunday. We're starting a trash task force in District 34. It is going to be people driven, so we're asking for people to sign up and be volunteers. We will have more information in the upcoming weeks, but I will drop down the link where you could sign up and be a volunteer. We also want to let the community know that the PB results are in, and Maria Hernandez Dog Run will be receiving $300,000.
All right. Perfect. Thank you. And next is Felix, Mr. Ceballos.
Yes, I'm Felix Ceballos. To remind everyone, I'm running for District Leader in District 53, and the election day is going to be June 28th. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Nurse.
Hey, everyone. Just a couple of things. We're starting a regular Tuesday program with the CUNY Citizenship Now. So if you need to or if you know anyone who needs to renew their DACA or has questions about their immigration status, we'll be having that every Tuesday. We'll send that information out. And then that will start on the 24th. And then on the 25th is the final public hearing on our city's budget. So if you have not had a chance to raise a concern about education, sanitation, health, transportation, whatever thing you're most passionate about, if you haven't raised the concern, I really encourage you all to submit testimony. Do want to mention that education budget got really hit hard this year. So please pay attention to that. And thank you so much for the conversations tonight.
And Sandy, thank you for having that forum. I went there, it was very well attended. Thank you very much for giving us. We had a lot of good information, and we appreciate everything you do for us. Thank you.
Thank you all.
And we have someone about dental services, an announcement.
Hi, everybody. My name is Aslan Ortiz. I'm a longtime resident of Bushwick. I know Mr. Camacho. He knows my grandma, Carmen. Who owns
Everybody knows Carmen from the beer distributor.
On
So this is our kids from my community. So please listen.
So hi everybody. I'm a dental hygiene student at Plaza College in Queens, New York. And as part of my graduating class, we are offering free dental services to anybody in the public. No insurance is required. You get a full set of x-rays, an exam with the doctor. We offer fluoride and sealant placement, and everybody's accepted. We accept children 2 and up, adults, adolescents, seniors 55 and up. Everybody is welcome. No insurance is required for this again. And please rest assured, we are following very strict COVID protocols to keep everybody healthy and safety. We're following CDC recommendations. We have a state-of-the-art clinic that has sterilization units, and everybody's doing what they need to do to keep everybody safe. Again, totally free of charge. And in July, specifically, for the entire month of July, we are having an event called Shiny Teeth of Queens. The school is located on Queens Boulevard, 118-33. Queens Boulevard in Forest Hills. And it is specifically for children, the Shiny Teeth of Queens. We have a really great raffle entry for a gift basket, and children can come in and get free services as well during this time. But we are accepting from now. So I'll put my contact information in the chat if anyone is interested, and please feel free to pass it along.
Very good.
Excellent.
Is it only in Queens, or is it just, do people travel to Queens? Or is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
the clinic is in Queens on Queens Boulevard in the school. It is part of the school clinic. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, then I have Desmond followed by Evelyn. Desmond?
So I just want to let people know the next meeting that we're going to have, the next economic development meeting, we're bringing in MWB Unite. They're basically, they hook up with lenders and all kinds of wonderful stuff. Basically, the gist of it is they come in, if you have a storefront, they help you buy your building. That's it. So people who, who have stores or whatever, and they want to own the building because their rent's getting too high, these people will come in and help finance that whole project. That's it.
So more information on that in the committee meeting. Thank you, Desmond. And next we have Evelyn.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Chairman Camacho and District Director Celeste and all the board members. This has been an amazing and a really interesting meeting, a lot of really good information. So thank you for sharing that with the public. I wanted to quickly say on this issue with COVID, I want to put in your heads that in Washington, D.C., remote voting was never allowed, or remote meetings. However, COVID changed that for the United States Congress. If we were able to do that in Congress, we should be able to do that at the community board level. So I'm just putting it there for you. I want to share some of the things that the member has done locally in the past few weeks. She was in the district. We did some check presentations to nonprofit organizations in the district that have been servicing the neighborhood. One of them that will be also impacting the work in Bushwick is CORE's Communities Resist. The Congresswoman was successful in securing a direct earmark of $750,000. So CORE can continue to advocate for the residents in Williamsburg and Bushwick and Ridgewood by providing legal assistance, tenant protection services. So we were really proud to present that to them. We also presented a $750,000 check to Los Sures in order for them to continue the work they're doing with the senior housing in our communities. And so those are two of the programs that were near and dear to us this past week. Something else that was important to the member in Congress that they debated last week that she is wholeheartedly supportive of is HR 5129. This is a critical bill for those in our community. This is the Community Service Block Grant Program. And as you know, this is the only federal program that has the overreaching powers to help reduce poverty in our neighborhoods. The CBSG funding supports a network of hundreds and thousands of organizations. If you're a Head Start, if you're a daycare provider, if you're an after-school program, if you're a housing development locator provider, a local development corporation, you are receiving community service block grant dollars. And what's happened is that since COVID, we realized that it was the nonprofit, the small organizations in our community that have been doing the huge heavy lifting of helping the community. And because of that, Congress has decided to reform how this funding is secured, and it is reauthorizing that the SBG grant be awarded for 10 years. It makes it easier for community-based organizations or for the full network, and it just gives us 10 years. So once you're funded, then that'll be 10 years in a row, as opposed to having to go back to the well every 2 or 3 years. So this is really important for our district. Something else that was important to the district is small business. Congresswoman Velasquez was able to pass 2 bills in the Small Business Committee. We heard from a lot of organizations, a lot of small businesses and community groups that said, look, there are people that applied for loans that, were fraudulent. They weren't eligible and they got money. And so there was a full investigation done. And so we were able to pass HR 7334, which is the COVID-19 Idle Fraud Statute of Limitations Act. And the bill will establish a 10-year statute of limitations for all COVID fraud, including EIDL advances and targeted advances. That means that if you committed fraud, you are most likely to be pursued for 10 years, so that you will have to pay back that loan if necessary. The other one is HR 7352. That is the PPP and Bank Fraud Enforcement Act of 2022. And this bill will establish a 10-year statute of limitations on all forms of the PPP loan fraud, including cases involving fintech originated loans consistent with that of bank fraud. So if a financial company, a financial tech firm also committed fraud, they too will be held accountable for these acts. And then lastly, there was also HR 903. HR 903 has to do with the TSA workers at the airports. And it is important because we all know someone that works at an airport as a TSA employee, and they're underpaid. They're understaffed, and they don't have a union. And they don't even have regular daily work schedules. So this law is going to reform all of that. It will enable them to get organized. It'll enable those to be disciplined. They'll be able to have regular hours. So this is a committee that we are watching closely, and a bill that the Congresswoman has endorsed. And the other thing is having to do with magnet fundings. As you know, the magnet fundings are fundings that are allocated by the Department of Education to help improve education resources to local schools. In our district, in School District 32, there are 3 schools that have applied and that we are supporting. And you may recall that a few years back, we were able to get like $1 million within a few schools in Williamsburg and in Bushwick, one of them being PS 123. And so we are at the table now fighting for these 3 schools in our district to make sure that they are eligible and they do secure the magnet funding. So these could be about maybe $500,000 a piece or a little more. But once we do get it passed, we will let you know, and I'm sure the School District 32 will also advise you. So that's really it for now. Thank you.
Celeste, can I please, Evelyn, I would like to thank our Congresswoman for that money for Community Resist.
Yes.
Because they're really doing a wonderful job. But we also want to see, we have 2 and 3 family homes. Just because you own a home doesn't mean you're rich. And we have scrupulous developers that are digging into their homes, and some of them don't even have money to get a lawyer if their foundation gets cracked or something, and then they have to go out, and just because they own a home or refinance just to get a lawyer to try to get their stuff. So if there's any way that we can help our seniors that are not making the money they're supposed to have in order to get a lawyer just because they have, and sometimes, as you know, some of the tenants aren't paying rent or wasn't paying rent because of the COVID. So they're having a hard time with their homes too. And what happens with that is a trickle effect, because now these developers will go in and buy their property and put all these big buildings, and we couldn't have saved this 2 and 3 family homes. I also heard in the news in regards to the lines.
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, yeah, let me tell you about the lines.
She
So-
might not be representing us. Is
No,
that
no,
fair to say?
what happened is that, and again, this is, we don't know what's gonna happen. Friday, the special master will confirm what the lines are. But as of now, the new proposed district, they've cut out basically like 50% of our district. So this new map totally removes the Lower East Side from our district, in addition to Red Hook, Dumbo, Park Slope, Sunset Park, like all of our southern belt, that's been slashed out of our district. We are so saddened to hear this. I know we've been working, we've been hearing from constituents throughout our district that are really outraged that this has happened, have written and submitted comments asking the special master to reconsider. And what we have gained and what we will gain if approved will be Greenpoint, Long Island City, Sunnyside, Maspeth, Glendale, Woodhaven, parts of Ozone Park, East New York, and Bushwick and Williamsburg. So instead of being a tri-borough district, it looks like we're going to be a dual borough district. It'll be Queens and Brooklyn, and the large majority being Queens centered. And so, this is not in the hands of the congresswoman, because, it's not for the elected official, for the congress member to pick her district, right? You can't do that. But definitely this will have a big impact on a lot of the communities. It's kind of diminishing the voting strength, the electoral power that united communities of interest, right? Latino, Black, Asian have. And it's kind of diminished all of that across the district. So we are, we're dismayed by this, absolutely. Mhm.
And so
we'll
just
know on Friday. I'm sorry.
Thank you. And thank you. I was gonna say thank you, Evelyn. And I wanted to just flag before more folks jump off. I know it's late, but there was one recommendation that the board did not vote on, which was regarding the open meeting laws amendment. So we wouldn't have folks, everyone would have to be in person next month unless the board votes on that. I forgot, I apologize. But if we can revisit that, I highly recommend it. Does not have to be very long. Is that okay for board members? And then we can just circle back to announcements.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so the short, Anne, you have a hand raised? Okay, no, you just said thumbs up. Okay, perfect. So the short version, I suggest that we just take the language directly from the document, allow for a state of emergency to remain remote. They mentioned extraordinary circumstances, essentially the extraordinary circumstances that are there, just outline them in the resolution. And then I don't think there's any other language in particular that has to be laid out to my knowledge. Those are like the two main things. So as long as there's a motion to adopt, like a recommendation to adopt these measures in order to remain remote for those individuals as per the amendments, I think a motion on that would suffice. So is there a motion?
Yeah, Robert Camacho make a motion to adopt these amendments.
Resolution.
Thank you both so much. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Wonderful. Look, we were so effective just then. All right, so we're gonna end I wish all government business was that easy. So we're gonna go ahead and go back to our announcements. I see Carlos's hand and I see Felix's hand. Carlos.
Jesus Christ.
Good evening, everyone. First, I want to congratulate all the newly elected leaders of the community board, and also congratulate Camacho. We celebrate you. Just very briefly, I want to say that last Thursday, the senator had the State of the District address. We had a really great turnout. The senator was able to talk about a lot of the funds that she's been able to bring into the district, legislation that was passed. It's on her Facebook. You just put Senator Julia Salazar. We live streamed it, so you can rewatch it there. I highly encourage folks to see there. She goes in depth on a lot of the funding we got for education, so much for legal support, a lot for and more for our community. Also, I encourage folks to still apply for ERAP. And if you did apply for ERAP when ERAP did not have funding, to stay on the lookout. We're seeing folks still being approved. There's still money there. And just the application of it protects tenants from, these eviction proceedings, or at least adds a layer of protection. So we really encourage do that. And the senator is fighting really hard for good cause eviction. As many of you have probably either experienced yourself or heard from folks, landlords are raising rents 300, 400, 500%. It's getting out of control. And good cause eviction would make sure that there is a good cause in order for a tenant to be evicted, which means that there will be automatic renewal, that there will be a cap on how much can be increased to make sure that folks are able to stay in their homes. And it doesn't, it also protects small landlords, because there is still if there is good cause, the landlord can obviously evict the tenant, but this is a balanced legislation to make sure that our communities are not displaced, that we don't have developers just displacing all the folks that have been here in our community for so long. Also, I know with the rise in COVID, we want to let everyone know we still have some test kits at the office. So please reach out to me or reach out to the office. I'm going to drop our information again in the chat. Please feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to provide test kits to anyone who needs it. And yeah, let me know anything, and have a great, wonderful night, everyone.
Thank you, Carlos. And Mr.
Thank you,
Ceballos.
Carlos.
Yes, good evening. Just I want to mention something about Evelyn was mentioned. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you, Nidia Velázquez, for everything they doing for support the homeowner. Because I know some homeowner, they don't have choice. They have to sell and go to another state. And that's just very, very hard, very sad.
Thank you, Mr. Ceballos. All right. I see no more hands, no more comments. We will move on with our second roll call. Board members, please be ready. Have yourselves unmuted. Frank Zimmerman. Oldhoff Wright. Carlotta Williams.
Here.
Jerry
Good night.
Valentin.
Here.
Got you, Jerry. Leo Teneo. Annette Spellin.
Here.
Dustin Sonborn. Barbara
Here.
Smith. Got you, Dustin. Got you, Barbara. Alicia Ruiz.
Good night.
Gladys Pulia. Asire Polite.
Here.
Got you, Sire. Kyle O'Rourke had to go. Sammy Nivir Olivares. Desmond Monroe, I believe, had to go as well. Imani Mitchell.
Present.
Got you, Imani. Mary McClellan. Andy Marte. Luiso Jose. Virgie Jones. Cheryl Jones. Barbara Jackson. Barbara Jackson,
Yeah.
if you got you, Barbara.
I'm here.
Okay, got you. Tanisha Honeygan.
Present.
Jared Hicks is resigned. Jose Guzman.
Present and good night.
Ann Guiney.
Present and good night too.
Hadia Harrison, just in case I skipped it. I'm going pretty fast. My apologies.
Thanks, baby.
Igaudy Gomez. James Fitzgerald. Carlos Feliciano. Alvina Davis.
Present. Good night.
Andrew Choi.
Good night.
Louisa Chan. Felix Ceballos.
Present, good night.
Melissa Carrera is excused. Robert Camacho.
Present, good night.
Brown.
Present and good night.
Joshua Brown.
Present. Good night.
Joanna Bennett.
Present. Good night.
Reverend Grace Aids. A motion to adjourn, please.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Celeste, this is Hadia. I couldn't unmute. They just gave me like the access, but I'm here.
Yeah, and Luisa Jose too.
Okay, I got you both. And,
Good
and-
night, guys. And please be safe out there.
Okay, and I have a motion from Barbara Jackson, and is there a second?
I second
Sabrina
the
Davis,
motion, Joanna Bennett seconds.
Joanna Bennett seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Good night.
Abstentions. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
See you next
Good night,
month.
everyone.
Good night, everyone.